my Catholic Church, and we've had our moments for sure, and it has been troubling at times, but you got to lean in on your faith when times are tough. And I've said this about the church, it's just like a family. Family has issues too, but you got to look at the big picture. And when I look at my faith in the Catholic Church, I look at an amazing body of work, meaning faith, my family, my 5 sisters, my mother and father, never missing Mass. And remember everybody praying a little extra harder when JFK was assassinated and everybody was looking for answers. Now, am I going to compare Charlie Kirk's death to the passing of JFK? No. But I will tell you this. I don't think I have seen anybody connect to young people like this guy. Look, I have been inundated with questions. Not everybody agrees with me. Social media here on the radio. But I have really been trying in recent weeks on this show and wherever I am to listen more than having to drive the conversation. You know, somebody once told me many years ago, you'll be shocked what you learn when you just listen. And I really took some incredible calls last night. Margot will attest to it. It was wall to wall. People that I have never heard of on this radio station, and I've been here since the mid-'80s. So what's that tell you? That this man, good or bad, generated interest, people wanting to get engaged in conversation. And that tragic scene before it unfolded, I couldn't believe the sea of young people that were there waiting to engage this guy. Kind of like 2 fighters ready for the bell to sound, right? I mean, they weren't throwing love taps at each other. The gloves were off. I mean, these young people were serious. They wanted their voices to be heard. And even though he would push back a little bit and poke them just to get the fire to burn a little brighter and warmer, he appreciated their view. He really wanted to hear from them. He wanted it to be raw. He wanted it to be real. But here's the thing that I've been taking away from Charlie Kirk: the family, the moral fiber, that compass that we need to get back in America today, because many of us have simply dropped the ball. And I will raise my hand and I'll come to the front of the class. I don't want my children to end up the way I have. I want them to have a life like Charlie Kirk and his wife, like my oldest son. I wish this for my nieces and nephews. I want people to understand, if you find a partner in your life, love that partner. And look, you're never going to get me talk about anything when it comes to sexual preference, transgender, homosexual, bisexual. Bottom line is, we're all God's children and we're all a part of the human race. I just want the violence to stop. I want the anger to stop. And I want people to listen and understand that everybody may not agree with you, but it's okay. And what was so great about him, he was teaching young people how to maybe not get their way. You're not supposed to get a medal for 2nd and 3rd place. It should only make you want to do better to achieve 1st place. We have to start teaching our young people that failure is okay. And I've had a lot of that in my life. Believe me, I could write a book or 2. But what it does, it simply makes you stronger. You run a little longer, you lift more weights, you read more, you listen more, and you act upon situations that you know are your strong points that will give you a chance to simply dust yourself off, get up, look in the windshield, and keep moving forward. That's the key in life. You got to keep moving forward. So we're going to talk a lot about these life's lessons, and it's more than a social media influencer, and it's more than a Republican or Democratic issue. It's the issue that is life and something we all need to pay attention to. Much more still with your Pat Peck. In a couple of minutes, Paul's back with the news, and then we look back at the last leading man, Robert Redford. Stay with us.
If you're 55 or older and into that whole saving money thing, T-Mobile has an exclusive phone and internet bundle just for you. Right now, get 2 unlimited phone lines plus 5G home internet for just $30 each per month with autopay, plus taxes and fees. And with 5G home internet, setup is easy with just 1 cord and no technician needed, which is great if you're also into that whole keeping it simple thing. Switch now and experience the best mobile network in the U.S. Visit your local store to start saving. T-Mobile, it's better over here. Based on analysis by Ookla of speed test intelligence data Q4 2024 to Q1 2025. Ookla trademarks used under license. Unlimited on our network. Customers on voice plan may notice speeds lower than other customers and further reduction if using more than 50 gigs a month due to data prioritization. Video streams and SD on this plan. Home internet pricing after $20 in monthly bill credit plus $5 per line without autopay. Debit or bank account required. See 5G device coverage and access details at T-Mobile.com.
It's time to replace your roof. What's the wise move? Getting a free, no-obligation roof and attic inspection? That's smart. Finding transparent pricing and flexible financing? That's brilliant. Working with the most trusted and reliable roofing company? Now that's genius. Home Genius Exteriors. Call now to get 50% off materials plus 0% APR and no payments till 2027. Call Home Genius Exteriors today at 855, the letter U, the letter R, Genius. See website for details.
Feel like everything's clouded by doubt? Visit CaliforniaPsychics.com. Our psychics are available to talk 24/7, and we guarantee if it's not life-changing, it's free. Experience the joy of certainty. California Psychics.
We asked parents to share their journey of adopting teens.
They changed who I am because I can't see life without them in it.
Visit adoptuskids.org to learn more. Brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
Are you having trouble hearing? Hearing loss can devastate the quality of your life. Now, there's an affordable fix for you or your loved one. Rated the best hearing aids of 2025 by Forbes Health, Audion Hearing has the highest quality hearing aids at the lowest prices, starting at just $98 a pair.
I actually like them better than my old $5,000 hearing aid.
I could not believe how my hearing and life changed.
Join over 1 million happy customers by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
Hearing the news every day is one thing. Hearing it hit home is something altogether different. That's the difference you hear every day on KDKA Radio. We go beyond the benign headlines and bring the news to life, your life. So stay here and hear the news and what a difference it makes. 100.1 FM and AM 1020, KDKA.
From the Aetna Studios.
Proud to be the voice of Pittsburgh. 100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA.
Partly sunny and 79 degrees at Pittsburgh International at 6:30. I'm Paul Alexander. News brought to you by PJ Fitzpatrick. Home improvements with no interest financing if you need it. Trust PJ.com. The man accused of assassinating conservative activist Charlie Kirk at a Utah university has been charged with aggravated murder. The charge means 22-year-old Tyler Robinson could face the death penalty if convicted of killing Kirk at Utah Valley University in Orem. Kirk was gunned down September 10th as he spoke with students and died soon after. Utah County Attorney Jeff Gray says the crimes could mean Robinson would face the death penalty. Former federal prosecutor Lori Levinson provides some context.
The Utah County prosecutor is not only seeking aggravated murder charges against Tyler Robinson, which may include the death penalty, but a range of other charges as well, including with tampering with witnesses, obstruction of justice, gun charges. It is very clear that the prosecutor in that county, as many across the nation, are taking this case extremely seriously.
Robinson will remain in jail without bail. Governor Josh Shapiro gave the keynote address today at the Eradicate Hate Summit in downtown Pittsburgh. He recounted how both Republican and Democratic predecessors reached out to him after the fire at the governor's residence. He says people pulling together regardless of party is in line with the vision William Penn had with the founding of Pennsylvania. He says President Trump has failed to live up to that spirit, accusing him of cherry-picking which acts of political violence he'll condemn.
We need to be universal in our condemnation. And the president has once again failed that leadership test, failed the morality test, and it makes us all less safe.
Shapiro also addressed the ongoing budget stalemate, counting on Senate and House leadership to iron out what he calls pretty small differences and send him a budget he can sign. Attorney General Dave Sunday and local law enforcement announcing a summer-long sweep focusing on illegal guns in the McKeesport area. News Radio KDK's David Ballarado has more.
Calling it Operation Summer Suppression, the effort focused on finding and cracking down on illegal guns and drugs in and around McKeesport. Sunday says 19 people were charged.
Some of these individuals were on parole or some sort of court supervision. Some were identified as dangerous, violent offenders. All, we believe, were contributors to the escalating atmosphere of violence in the area.
Tracy Gatiss of the Attorney General's office says those arrested were not working together. The arrest came by focusing on hotspots and on people linked to increased gun and narcotics activities through police work. David Ballarado, News Radio, KDKA.
Chances are you probably lost something in the dryer, but Allegheny County Sheriff Kevin Krause says His deputies made a big find Saturday inside a dryer in Braddock. A man wanted on a bench warrant on firearms charges.
He was all the way in, and the door was closed somehow. So that's how they found him. They opened the dryer door, and they gave him commands to take him into custody.
32-year-old Devontae Youngblood was then taken into custody. He's in the Allegheny County Jail, unable to post bond. On Wall Street, the Dow closed down 125 points, and NASDAQ down 14. The S&P 500 down 8 points. KDKA Sports brought to you by NASCO Roofing, Pittsburgh's trusted and passionate roofer. Call NASCO Roofing at 412-373-2000. Pirates and the Cubs at PNC Park, about 6 minutes away from first pitch. Paul Skeens on the mound tonight for the Pirates. KDK Radio News Time, 6:32. Thinking about retiring but worried about high health insurance costs? Call One Health Benefits today at 724-799-8873 and learn more about affordable health insurance plans. Our next update at 7 o'clock. I'm Paul Alexander on the Voice of Pittsburgh News Radio, KDKA.
Friday nights in Western Pennsylvania mean one thing: high school football. This is Greg Diulis of Diulis Law. Calling the right play can change the outcome of a game. Calling the right lawyer can change your life. Whether you need help with family law, criminal matters, or probate and estate planning, call me at 412-736-9638. Diulis Law, one of Pittsburgh's winning teams for over 30 years. 412-736-9638.
Have you been told there is nothing that can be done for your neuropathy? Tri-State Neuropathy Centers is pleased to tell you that's not true. As one of the largest and most successful neuropathy treatment practices in the country, Tri-State Neuropathy Centers has grown to 9 regional centers and helped over 14,000 patients, like Bill from Mars. Bill's neuropathy got so bad he couldn't sleep due to the pain and was losing his balance, causing him to have frequent falls. Then Bill found Tri-State Neuropathy Centers. Their effective FDA-approved treatment program greatly improved Bill's neuropathy, and now he's sleeping through the night, can feel his feet again, and has no more pain. Listen to Bill's complete story at marydanced.com. Tri-State Neuropathy Centers help Bill along with thousands of others. Let them help you next. Call 724-940-9000. That's 724-940-9000. Tri-State Neuropathy Centers, the leader in treating peripheral neuropathy.
KDKA traffic on the 5.
6:35 from the P.J. Fitzpatrick Home Improvement Traffic Center. KDKA AAA traffic powered by Bowser and Genesis of Monroeville. Here's Margot.
All right, thanks, Rob. Getting a report for an accident on the 400 block of Knob Road in Marshall Township. On the other major roadways, seeing congestion on the Parkway West inbound from Carnegie heading into the Fort Pitt Tunnel, and still seeing congestion on the Turnpike heading eastbound towards Westmoreland County. With AAA traffic, I'm Margot Rensel on 100.1 FM and AM 1020, KDKA.
The KDKA AccuWeather forecast is brought to you by JP Roofing and Siding, Pittsburgh's #1 Platinum Preferred Roofing Replacement Contractor. Call 412-829-7711.
Dry weather continues. Mostly clear tonight, down to 57. Partly sunny tomorrow, nice up to 81. Mostly clear tomorrow night, low 56. Sunny and a little warmer Thursday, high 85. For AccuWeather, I'm meteorologist John Feerick, 100.1 FM and AM 1020, KDKA.
This report brought to you by Duke's Mayonnaise.
This is the Duke's Country Song. It's a song about the best mayo. Has a yellow lid, and its full name is Duke's Mayonnaise. Get Duke's Mayo in store. It's got twang.
My doctor told me my cholesterol is borderline, so I took control with Garlic Healthy Cholesterol Formula. Garlic helps maintain healthy cholesterol safely and naturally. It's odor and taste-free, and Garlic is a world leader in garlic potency. I'm taking charge of my cholesterol with Garlic Healthy Cholesterol Formula, cholesterol's natural enemy.
These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. The term natural references only the garlic in the product. Use as directed.
Staples presents That Was Easy.
So my sandwich shop was opening in a week, and I needed signage.
A week is plenty of time to panic.
I went to Staples. They printed banners, posters, and flyers to promote my grand opening.
All in time for your grand closing.
Nope, I had it same day. I even got $125 off my order.
Hold the onions. For all your business printing, Staples.
That was easy.
Now save up to $125 on custom print orders. In-store and online, same day if ordered by 12 p.m. into 11/1. Exclusions apply. Visit staples.com/print for details.
The KDKA radio text line is driven by Kenny Ross Auto Group. Find your best deal and Pittsburgh's best warranty at kennyross.com.
Listen to KDKA Radio on the Odyssey, iHeartRadio, or TuneIn apps.
Hi, this is Larry Richard. Join us on the Big K Morning Show tomorrow, 5:30 until 10. Rich Fitzgerald joins us in the 7 o'clock hour, bringing us news from around the 10-county region.
All right, little hooray for Hollywood here. Robert Redford passed away today at the age of 89. You know, I did something from the home studio that a lot of people are viewing as we speak across my social media platforms, and it has nothing to do with my talent or anything to do with me, but just the name Robert Redford makes people want to watch. You know, Robert Redford never won an Academy Award for his acting ability, but he did win one for his directing ability, and we'll tell you more about that in a moment. But in the 70s, he is the one that put people in the seats. Look, Daniel Day-Lewis is the actor who walks home with the hardware, right? But Robert Redford is what is the most important thing in Hollywood, box office. And if you think about where we have gone with the cinema world since the pandemic and now with streaming, there's not really any red carpet to speak of as it once was, the glitz and glamour of every premiere, every opening, every motion picture. You had that Memorial Day weekend, you had the Christmas holiday, and of course 4th of July sandwiched in the middle, that people would flock by the millions to the movie theaters. Not saying that they don't, but the world has changed. And it's one of the reasons why I really believe he is the last leading man. You know, for those of us who love cinema, and I am always trying to plug into Turner Classic Movies just to kind of revisit some of the greats and the ones that I watched with my grandmother and mother during those weekends or a snow day or during the holidays. You know, great leading men like Spencer Tracy and Cary Grant and Clark Gable. I recently visited the museum in Girard, Ohio, which was the home of a very young Clark Gable. He was everything that they were. A dramatic actor, obviously brutally handsome, and he could do comedy too, and even an action hero if need be. But make no mistake about it, before the word rom-com was ever invented, he was making them. So let's go to like 1970, 71. I'm off from school. Once again, ill, or doing my own acting to get out of a math test, right? So I had the hand-me-down metal cabinet Zenith black and white television. So when we went to that RCA color television, somehow, some way, my mom convinced my dad to let me take this behemoth and put it in my bedroom, right? So back in the day, you had 3 channels, 2, 4, and 11. And Channel 4 had a Dowling for Dollars movie that every once in a while the host would pull a name out of the hat and call it, and if you picked the phone up and knew what was on that movie, you would win a few dollars, right? So everybody watched this movie. It was popular. But I never had a chance because I was always at school. But on this day, it was the stage play that was now made for a movie in which Robert Redford got a break on the Broadway stage playing the exact same character, Barefoot in the Park, starring a very young Jane Fonda, who I immediately, coming of age, fell in love with. But I also noticed something very special at Robert Redford. He kind of reminded me a lot of my father, a man's man. There was something about him. So I was up and running, becoming a Robert Redford fan, watching movies like Downhill Racer that was made with Gene Hackman. He was a skier, really a cool movie back in the day. And when the 70s rolled around, man, he was up and running. Obviously, the late 60s, Butch Cassidy, Sundance Kid, partnership with Paul Newman. They would go on to star in The Sting. And yeah, he made some other classics too. All the President's Men. But one of my favorites, and I think about it every political cycle, especially during a race for the Senate or the presidency, called The Candidate, in which he was a fictitious character in California because of his good looks. That party convinced him to run for the Senate. And his guru advisor was Peter Boyle, who you may know as Frankenstein, young Frankenstein, of course, for many years, CBS television, Ray Romano, and Everybody Loves Raymond. So they win this thing, and it's time for Redford to give that speech, right? And they can't find him. So finally, they find him in some back room of this convention center, and he's sitting there, and Peter Boyle kicks open the door and says, "Come on, let's go. You got a speech to give." Moment of silence, giving the audience a chance to lock in on Robert Redford, who raises his head and looks into the eyes of Peter Boyle and says, "Now what do we do?" In other words, now, how am I going to do this if I really don't know anything about being a senator? Great movie, highly underrated. But one of the other favorites was The Natural, a mythical character and a boy in a bat that gets struck by lightning a tree. He develops a bat, and somehow, some way, he finds his way back in the big leagues with an opportunity to take another swing at the plate. But then that movie Ordinary People came out, and he was not in front of the Panavision camera, but behind the lens. And this is something that very few people did in Hollywood, or at that time, never did. He filmed it in sequence, from the opening scene to the final scene, as opposed to many movies at the time and before. They would film it out of sequence depending on the lighting, the location, the weather, things of that nature. It starred Mary Tyler Moore, who got nominated for an Academy Award. She was breathtaking and incredibly talented, as was the leading man, Donald Sutherland. But a young man by the name of Timothy Hutton won himself an Academy Award supporting actor role. And the guy who won that Best Director Oscar that year, Robert Redford. But I remember walking out of what was the Family Theater in Rochester thinking about that Ordinary People family, that they had problems too. Because at that time, everybody thought Hollywood was fictitious, larger than life. They didn't deal with real problems. They dealt with superheroes. But Robert Redford put it right out there on the table, because he is a young man growing up in the sun-drenched skies of California, an exceptional baseball player, obviously handsome, goes to college, but he's kind of like a bad boy, gets booted out of college with no future, no opportunity to do anything, but he decides to act. And after a while, he started getting big leading roles and was on his way to becoming box office gold. Make no mistake about it, he is a part of my life and will always be a part of my life. But for some reason, all of us still who love the magic of Hollywood sometimes let the magic sweep us up. And we don't think that these heroes will ever die. The movies go on, but they don't, because that's life. And what a rich life he had, and all of the wonderful things he did for conservation, his beautiful place that is Utah, and of course Sundance, giving foreign films and young filmmakers an opportunity to show that they too have the right stuff. But make no mistake about it, from that great movie with Barbra Streisand, still one of my all-time favorites, the one that really made him a box office superstar, The Way We Were. The Way We Were back then was innocent, but we were always so happy to see Robert Redford on the big screen, and thank goodness we're going to continue to be able to do that for eternity. All right, 6:45. From the PJ Fitzpatrick Home Improvement Traffic Center, KDKA AAA Traffic, powered by Bowser and Genesis of Monroeville. Here's Margot.
All right, Rob, getting a report for an accident on the 200 block of Northgate Drive in Marshall Township. On the other major roadways, still seeing congestion on the Turnpike moving eastbound in Westmoreland County, and on the Parkway West inbound, it is congested from the middle of Green Tree Hill heading into the Fort Pitt Tunnel. With AAA Traffic, I'm Margot Rensel on 100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. If you've been injured in a car accident, call America's largest injury law firm. For over 35 years, my mission has been to deliver more for our clients, to deliver more for you. Injured? Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Make 380 Auction to Murraysville your next stop for discounts and bargains. Trucks come in every week. 380 Auction has name brand furniture, fall mums, also tools, birdseed, automotive supplies, pet supplies, lawn and garden, toys, food, and new items arriving daily. 380 Auction is open Tuesday through Sunday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Or call 724-339-3132. That's 724-339-3132. Or log on to shop380.com and save.
As an athlete, I'm all about performance and my overall health. I've wanted to improve my smile for a while, but I thought braces was the only option. A friend of mine mentioned she was improving her smile with Invisalign, so I checked out with my local orthodontist and found out that Invisalign could work for me as well. After a quick scan, my orthodontist created my Invisalign plan, and I couldn't be more excited to start. Check out Invisalign.com to find a doctor in your neighborhood. It's great that there are trained Invisalign doctors in our own community here. Invisalign.com.
You hear that? That's the sound of your business losing money. Legacy phone systems weren't built for today's teams. OpenPhone gives your business a smarter way to stay connected. OpenPhone lets you manage calls, texts, voicemail, and contacts all in one place, so that you and your team can deliver a seamless customer experience from ring to Need to take calls on the go? OpenPhone automatically transcribes, summarizes, and highlights next steps from every call, so you never miss a detail. Need insight into what closes a sale? With OpenPhone's AI call tags, you can instantly spot key topics like objections or pricing questions, and use those insights to coach your team and level up every customer interaction. And yes, you can bring your existing number with you for free. Keep your team in sync and your customers happy with OpenPhone. OpenPhone. No missed calls, no missed customers. Try OpenPhone for free at openphone.com/try and get 20% off your first 6 months. That's openphone.com/try. openphone.com/TRY.
Tune in to 1020 KDKA Radio for Medical Frontiers with Dr. Gerald Pfeiffer from the Allegheny Health Network every Monday from 7 to 8 p.m. Dr. Pfeiffer and his special guests will cover the information that you want to know about your health and the latest trends in medicine.
SchultzFord.com. 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 SchultzFord.com.
This year's senior class is back at homecoming, reunited and protected with mNEXSpike, the new COVID-19 vaccine from Moderna for adults 65 and older. That's because these seniors know they face the highest risk of severe COVID. mNEXSpike, COVID-19 vaccine mRNA, is a COVID-19 vaccine for people 65 and older and for 12 to 64-year-olds at high risk for severe COVID. You shouldn't get mNEXSpike if you've had an allergic reaction to a previous Moderna COVID-19 vaccine. Rare cases of inflammation of the heart muscle and outer lining have been reported. Common side effects include pain at the injection site, tiredness, headache, muscle or joint pain, chills, nausea, vomiting, and underarm swelling or soreness. mNEXSpike may not protect everyone. This year's senior class came ready with a COVID-19 vaccine that helps them keep showing up. mNEXSpike from Moderna, here for the senior class. Visit mnexspike.com to schedule your vaccine today. That's mnexspike.com.
All right, coming up on 10 before the top of the hour, out to the news desk. Here's KDK Radio News anchor Paul Alexander. Paul.
Rob, thank you very much. The very latest from the first phase of what's going on in Utah with the alleged killer. Details coming up. Top of the hour right here on the Voice of Pittsburgh News Radio, KDKA.
All right, Bloomberg Money Minute time. Bloomberg Radio, KDKA Radio.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. Wall Street's September rally tapping the brakes today as investors await tomorrow's Federal Reserve decision on whether to cut interest rates and by how much. And for any clues from Fed Chair Jerome Powell on the central bank's outlook for rates in the next few months. And despite retail spending in August rising for the third month in a row and up by more than expected, stocks ended lower today on Wall Street. The Dow lost 126, the Nasdaq down 16, the S&P lost 9. The black unemployment rate surging under President Trump, up 1.5% in just the last 3 months. It's now at 7.5%, twice the rate for white Americans. Part of the problem, President Trump's targeted cuts of the federal workforce, where black workers are overrepresented. And Christmas now 100 days away, but today Amazon.com announced plans to kick off the holiday season with its Prime Big Deal Days sale, returning October 7th and 8th, 6 weeks ahead of Black Friday. Tom Busby, Bloomberg Radio.
Everything you need, every time you listen. 100.1 FM and AM 1020, KDKA.
I got to tell you something. I just love Amazon. They do so many incredible things. Just when you think they've done the last big thing, they're always thinking about something else. Pretty cool stuff. All right, I love that Bloomberg Money Minute report. All right, one of the things they were talking about is the possibility of the Fed cutting the interest rate. Well, let me tell you a little bit about this, and we're going to dive into this tomorrow as well. They have to. They have to do that. And the president, again, if you had a chance to see this impromptu press conference today, before he got on Marine One to go to the UK, Oliver Bateman, who's a worldwide columnist, you see him in the Trib, you see him in the PG, is going to be here to talk about the trip to the UK. We're going to talk Charlie Kirk. We're going to talk some of the things that the president had to say in this impromptu press conference. Talked about trillions of dollars coming to our country because of the tariffs. Tariffs, whether you like it or not, are actually benefiting this country. But I love the idea how this guy's working the room. He really is trying to get the best deal possible for America. And anybody who knows anything about business, and that's what he's doing. He basically admitted it in this press conference today. He said, look, basically I'm starting a business here. The business of America, making America great again. Diving in feet first and trying to get things going in the right direction. And as you would in any business, one of the things that you need more than ever, you need cash flow. You need money flowing into that business to generate money. You got to spend it to make it, right? Well, what he's doing is like, instead of spending it, he's cutting the interest rate so the average person, especially young people, are going to feel confident to reach into their pocket and spend some cash, knowing that they're not going to get gouged when it comes to the interest rate. And the most important thing in America today, as it was for my parents, as it is for me, and as it is for my children, and two of my children already are homeowners. How cool is that? Especially a 26-year-old. I tell him all the time as I cradle him and simply say, I love you more than life itself, but do you understand, my son Robbie, at 26, being a homeowner? You're on your way to an incredible life. Something it took me a few times to figure out. You got to be a homeowner. You need to have a home of your own. Something that we have lost sight of in America today because people have not just been able to do it. And even the greatest generation, if they were dealing with the economy and this climate, financial climate, this big dark cloud hanging over our head today, they too would be stuck in neutral. Young people need to believe that the government cares about them. They appreciate their hard work. They love loyal citizens who get up every day and go to work making a difference. I'm going to tell you right now, a pat on the back or a way to go or a thumbs up can go a long way to get more out of anyone. I know. They know how to push my buttons, and I love taking care of people who take care of me, right? That's the way it should be. One hand washes the other. America needs to get back to realizing that it's not all about YOU, but it truly is about us, the American people. And these constituents who keep voting these same people in office time and time again, especially to the presidency, if it was working, would we be $37 trillion in debt? No. And look, you think that these other countries are going to stop doing business with us because we're threatening them with tariffs? Why do you think the president's going to the UK? They got a good deal. He even said they're going to probably want more, but they've got a pretty good deal. And this TikTok situation with the president and the president of China, they're going to come to common ground there. But that's going to be the catalyst of another TikTok, as in the business clock, getting everybody back on point. China needs us. We are the ones that take care of the 2 billion plus as far as their population is concerned. We put a roof over their head. And they know that. They're just trying to negotiate the art of the deal as well. But what the president is going to do, we live in a global economy. It's never going to go back to the way it once was. Made in America has a whole new meaning now. But what he's hoping to make out of these tariffs is the opportunity for some of these other countries and their major corporations to come and do business in our country, build factories, hire American workers, put healthy paychecks back into the hands of people who have been starving for them for generations. So what does that mean? When you do that, money goes to money. People start spending it, and if that interest rate comes down, can you imagine hammer to nail new home construction, what that will mean? And more importantly, people wanting to be a homeowner again. Young people saying, I dared to dream it, now I can achieve it. It's the biggest investment you will ever make in your life. But I think of a mother and father, my dad 29, my mother 26, already 6 children, and somehow, some way, on his salary back in the day, in the spring of 1957, they broke ground and built their own home. Something I've never done. I'm envious. But they had the ability, knowing that that paycheck would be there. And they had the ability to work hard, but in the end, they got something for it. The fruit of their labor was a home that they lived in their entire life, raised their children, celebrated holidays, and through that giant picture window, watched the world go by. So why not give young people the same opportunity today? And the president at 79, he's not doing this for him. He's doing it for his children and your children and my children and grandchildren. So let's just let him continue to run this country as though he was the chairman of the board, because he's already the president. Give him the keys to the kingdom. We've been trying to fix it for a very long time, and we just keep coming up empty. So the interest rate has to be cut. I understand where he's coming from, because when you cut it, It's going to basically set people free of being a prisoner of fear, wondering when the next shoe will drop. Getting an opportunity to say, hey, somebody's actually doing something for us. So what do you do when somebody does something for you? You step up to the plate and you do something for them. In the United States of America, the one word you never want to lose sight of, it's more important now than ever, it's united. And remember, united we stand, divided we fall. I love the idea of being all business all the time. It's nice to know that we're open for business in America. And don't you think it's time that we all get back to business? Isn't that something to look forward to? All right, Nan's here with her crew. Coming up right after the news at 7 with Paul, which is 2 minutes away with your Pratt Pack on KDKA.
Every Tuesday morning at 7:20, listen for Inside Independence Health, a look at all things healthcare with the experts from Independence Health System. It's brought to you by Independence Health System. Expert care here.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
That's leaffilter.com/deal for your free gutter inspection today. See representative for warranty details. Promotion is 20% off plus a 10% senior or military discount. One discount per household.
The Village at St. Barnabas, the perfect place for mom.
KDKA and KDKA-FM HD2 Pittsburgh. W261AX Pittsburgh.
Always live on the free Odyssey app. From the Aetna Studios.
Proud to be the voice of Pittsburgh. 100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA.
Mostly sunny and 78 degrees at Pittsburgh International at 7 o'clock. I'm Paul Alexander. News brought to you by PJ Fitzpatrick. For your home's windows, siding, doors, and bath, trust PJ.com. Charges were announced against Tyler Robinson, a 22-year-old accused of shooting and killing Charlie Kirk last week while the conservative activist was speaking at Utah Valley University. CBS News correspondent Matt Piper reports.
Authorities in Utah will seek the death penalty against the 22-year-old man charged in the fatal shooting of Charlie Kirk on a college campus. It came after they announced aggravated murder and other charges against Tyler Robinson. Prosecutors say Robinson is believed to have targeted Charlie Kirk based on Kirk's political expression. They say after he was shot, Robinson hid the gun, discarded the clothing he wore, and told his roommate to delete incriminating text messages and to not talk to police.
Authorities have not provided many details about why they think Robinson carried out the attack. As a reaction to the assassination of conservative activist Charlie Kirk continues to spark more divisiveness, a gathering in Pittsburgh was held to try and bring people together. Governor Josh Shapiro was the keynote speaker at today's Eradicate Hate Summit at the David L. Lawrence Convention Center. News Radio KDKA's David Ballarado was there.
Speaking at the Eradicate Hate Summit downtown, Governor Josh Shapiro said political violence doesn't only affect those targeted and their loved ones, but all of us.
It tears at the fabric of American society and the fundamental principles that this nation was founded upon.
He said leaders have a responsibility to speak and act with moral clarity. At a post-speech news conference, he said President Trump has cherry-picked what violence he's willing to condemn. He says that fails both the leadership and the morality tests. Reporting downtown, David Ballarado, News Radio KDKA.
Citywide crime's effect on children prompted a council member to call for solutions at today's council meeting. News Radio KDKA's Tamara Rush has the details.
In a heartfelt plea to her fellow council members, Councilperson Teresa Kell-Smith urged action in response to a series of recent events, beginning with a youth football game in Chartier City that was disrupted by a confrontation involving drawn guns.
We shouldn't have to have armed security at games. These are kids.
She then spoke about the recent incidents in which several children lost their lives, allegedly at the hands of their mothers.
There's all kinds of things that we're hearing that are happening to our kids, whether it's in a foster home, whether it's in their natural home, wherever it is. Our kids are struggling and going through some horrific things.
Kel Smith calls on council to act for meaningful change for the future of children. Tamira Rush, News Radio KDKA.
Attorney General Dave Sunday and local enforcement officials say they've arrested 19 people as part of a crackdown focusing on both illegal drugs and narcotics in the McKeesport area. Sunday says they have recovered 17 guns and $40,000 worth of cocaine, fentanyl, and heroin through Operation Summer Suppression.
This is not one single criminal organization. These are many bad actors who committed separate crimes.
Sunday says the effort is an example of how the collaborative efforts of the Allegheny County Gun Violence Task Force are paying off. KDK Sports, rough start so far for Paul Skeens. The Cubs have jumped out to a 2-0 lead over the Pirates. That is in the bottom half of the first inning. KDK Radio News Time, 7:03. Right now it is clear and 78 degrees in Pittsburgh. Our next update at 7:30 on the Voice of Pittsburgh News Radio, KDKA.
Do you know what an ADU is, an accessory dwelling unit? I'm Lynn Hayes Freeland, and if you're anything like me, you have no clue what that means. That's why AARP is putting together a special workshop called Small Spaces, Big Impact, How ADUs Can Benefit Pittsburgh. Now, an ADU is something like an in-law suite or a cottage in the back of the house, a way to create living space that families can live together. Learn more at the workshop September 25th at 9:45 a.m., and you can register at aarp.org/local.
Indulge your senses with the perfect blend of wine, music, and dining at City Winery in the Strip District Terminal. Enjoy live performances from legendary artists and local favorites in an intimate listening room designed for an unforgettable concert experience. Savor locally sourced food and award-winning wine, all in a setting that brings music and flavor together like never before. Whether it's a night out with friends or a special occasion, make it memorable. Reserve your table now at citywinery.com/Pittsburgh.
Planning your next family getaway? Before you click a book on one of those big travel sites, think about this. They add up to 15% in fees. That's money that could go towards dinners out, souvenirs, and another day of fun. At SWAC Vacation Rentals, we believe your money is for your vacation. By booking directly at swacvacations.com, you save that money for what really matters. The price you see is the price you pay. Find your perfect spot and keep the savings. That's SWAC, SWACK, vacations.com.
The KDKA AccuWeather forecast is brought to you by JP Roofing and Siding, Pittsburgh's #1 Platinum Preferred Roofing Replacement Contractor. Call 412-829-7711.
Mostly clear tonight. We'll dip back into the mid-50s. Times of clouds and sunshine tomorrow up to 81. Mostly clear tomorrow night down to 56. And then sunny and very warm Thursday, high 85. We're AccuWeather. I'm John Feerick, 100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA.
Amazon Business. Smart business buying tools enable buyers to find and purchase items fast so they can focus on strategy and growth. Free up your teams and focus on your future. Learn more at amazonbusiness.com. The following is paid for by Nan Cohen Total Talk. Information on the program is intended to solely further the public's general knowledge about the product. Opinions expressed should not be relied upon for any purpose by any member of the audience. News Radio KDKA does not guarantee the accuracy of any of the information aired on the following program.
These are the people, the movers and shakers, the businesses, the people you know in your community who make Pittsburgh work. This is Pittsburgh Works on 100.1 FM and AM 1020. KDKA.
All right, she's back. A little blast from the past. Where have you been, Nan Cohen? Is this Total Talk or what?
I'm totally talking with you right now. I forgot my sunglasses. Paulie didn't tell me about.
That's okay.
I'll get them off in the next segment. I drove back from the beach just for you.
You're so just amazing. You never cease to amaze me.
I really wasn't going to do it, but just for you, because I haven't seen you in 2 months.
Somebody's got to pay the hotel bill.
I haven't seen you in 2 months.
It's been a long time.
But I missed you. I come back and you're like, look, I got you. I got Dapper Dan McIntyre in here. Dapper Rob over there. Did you guys talk to each other about suits today?
Listen, he looks
I missed the call.
He looks a whole lot better and he's a whole lot richer. But I'm so happy that he's here tonight.
I don't know about that.
How are you?
I'm okay.
You know, our favorite Barbra Streisand, Robert Redford, passed away. You know, I found out, that little scene where she kind of brushes back his bangs? That wasn't even in the script. And she just did that, as she does, always do something right. And that may be one of the best romantic scenes in the history of cinema. So he will be missed.
What was the line? Give it to me. Love is never having to say.
No, that's a love story with Ali McGraw.
Love is never having to say.
That was
I
Ali
always
McGraw.
pictured him saying that.
Oh, okay. Come on now.
That would be from him.
Don't confuse me any more than I already am.
Ah.
But I really love this topic tonight, along with this divorce attorney, too, who's great. But these guests you brought here tonight have piqued my interest.
Oh, have they?
Yes, they have.
Because he's been doing this for a long time, but I'm going to keep them just quiet for a little bit because I am all over the place in divorce land. Like, Dan, I needed you tonight. What's going on?
Yeah, lots of things.
Lots and lots.
Changes in the support guidelines.
See, I have you off for a couple. Look, it was 2 months I took off. I took the summer months off, and
They're
bam.
coming in effect in January. Of course, that means the payor will be paying more support.
Wait, let's slow this down. Let's tell everybody exactly what's going on. That I never could equate support way back when I was getting divorced. By the way, this is Dan McIntyre, everybody. He's been on with me how many times? And I said, you got to get in here. We're in that final slide to the end of the year, so we're totally talking divorce for a little bit. As we slide into this year, September, always had this calendar of how this kind of worked in divorce. And, getting people from September through December, because everybody at that point wants to kind of make it through the holidays and then get things off the top of the year. September was always the crazy month for my business.
Yeah, there's lots of changes. Back to school.
It was a lot. So I thought, you know what? Since Rob missed me so much, I decided to come in and start a little bit earlier. And so let's just take it from that. Some of the changes happened, and they were.
Well, the support guidelines don't take effect until January
of next year.
Yes, of January 2026. Basically, there'll be an increase in support for the most part. And for those of you who don't know, Pennsylvania has support guidelines. It's a chart that some mathematician figured out, and I have no idea how. But you plug in, payors or, husband's income and wife's income, and you come up with a number. And it's pretty simple and straightforward.
Right. And I said back when I was divorced and raising my young daughter at the time, I could never equate the dollars for that because I'd be like, what the support, but do you really understand what diapers cost and what does this cost and formula? And, you put those things together. And then, of course, you fast forward to my daughter who's now 33, did that ever keep up with time? And I don't know that, but.
And again, I'm no mathematician, but I quite honestly, looking at it from my point of view, who knows nothing about math, they're increasing the support that the payor gives to the payee. But his cost of living also increased. So I don't understand how that makes sense, but what do I know?
Right. It's going to go both ways.
Yeah.
Well, I guess for that amount, we talked briefly about, I don't really want to quote numbers on where it's going to go here, but to look out on the horizon, it is coming.
Yeah, and the example they gave was a person paying about $1,400 will now be paying $1,600.
Okay.
That's pretty substantial.
Yeah. I'm not going to make any comments about anybody other's supports going on, but that's fine.
Yeah.
So go ahead, take that to what else is changing in that law. Where's those fancy papers we were looking at?
Okay, the custody factors also changed. For those who've been through a custody action lately, there were 16 factors which the judge has to look at, and now they're down to 12. Some of them they have combined, so they didn't get rid of them. They just merged them. So like one might be, instead of being a one-part factor is now a two-part factor. But the other things they took in consideration, which for the most part I think the changes are good. They've kept up with the times. Like one of the factors was you have to, if you're alienating the child from the party, they changed that to parties because you don't want to alienate the person against the new spouse either, so those kind of things. They threw in some factors, taking in account more factors concerning abuse of children, things like that. There's more protections. Yeah, so for the most part, I'm okay with the new factors. And it's 12 instead of 16, so it makes it a little easier to argue.
There you go. So you got anything else on that fancy list of yours?
No, that's the two major changes. Yeah, other than the usual crazy people, but, we have those.
I've been inundated with people asking for referrals and for co-parenting. So I do want to get into that discussion with you because, I don't know what it is, but why is this? We're not parenting. Why can't you transactionally co-parent? I mean, I get that the marriage is over, and there's a divorce for a reason, but the kids are still yours, and you have to make these positions work for the children. And people are really struggling. They're fighting to get in to see people to learn how to co-parent. And I'm like, how did this work when everybody was together and you made it work, and now you're separate and everything's a major issue, and what you did do or didn't do, you still have your kids.
Yeah, and I agree. Things have changed dramatically. Almost all my cases are going through co-parenting. They don't talk to each other. And it's become a war. It's all posturing to go to court. I'm going to prove to the judge I'm a better parent. Well, you know what? Judges don't want to hear that. They want you to work together.
Well, but they don't see the benefit of when they're in it for the minute, where they're at, the position that they're taking. But I can tell you on the other side of it, and I preach this to parents, if you get the opportunity to sit down with your kids when they're on the other side of it, and they're in over the 18 mark, and they're 20, in their 30s, in their 40s, and their 50s, and they'll say, why did you do this? Why did you make it so difficult? We knew the positioning we were in. We wanted to go to mom's house. We wanted to go to dad's house. We had activities to do. Why was it such a problem? And I don't think when you're that far in the minute, right now in time, you can't see the long-term goals on it. And that's why we're ending up inundated. We don't have where to send you where to go get co-parenting counseling anymore.
Yeah,
so
and we have some good co-parenting counselors.
We're so fortunate here in the city.
Yeah, we are.
We really are.
But it's expensive. It's time-consuming. And again, if you just sit down and talk, you married this person, you had a baby with this person, talk.
It's, Rob, I'm going to have John Duffy back in here. I'm going to have all the experts all lined up again for this season coming into the home run. But we just got to get people, everybody. In life, you've got to communicate. What makes you think because you're divorced you didn't communicate in a marriage? You think it's going to work outside the marriage now with your children? Cut me a break. Let's do that commercial break, and we're going to come back.
All right, we will do that. We'll come back. Much more still to come. Nan Cohen, Total Talk, tonight on KDKA.
Listen to KDKA Radio on the Odyssey, iHeartRadio, or TuneIn apps.
Let's go! You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You've still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and help strengthen your immune response. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Schedule in minutes at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
O'Reilly. Protect your vehicle's engine with Syntec and O'Reilly Auto Parts. Syntec Premium Full Synthetic Motor Oil is formulated for today's engines. Right now, get 5 quarts of Syntec Full Synthetic and a MicroGuard Select Oil Filter for just $32.99. Plus, receive 2 times O Rewards points. Limit supply. Choose Syntec exclusively at O'Reilly Auto Parts. O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Tune in this Sunday morning at 8 for the Coons Cooking Hour with Rob Pratt and the Coons Market Team, discussing your favorite fall recipes. It's the Coons Cooking Hour presented by Coons Market, your hometown Pittsburgh grocer. At LaFace & McGovern, they're proud to be Pittsburgh's trusted partner in lighting, controls, services, and power solutions. For 48 years, L&M has worked alongside architects, engineers, and contractors to bring innovative, sustainable solutions to life. From specification support and technical expertise to project management and specialty lighting, their team is dedicated to delivering excellence. L&M believes in building relationships, supporting community, and helping spaces shine brighter. LaFace & McGovern, lighting the way for Pittsburgh since 1977.
I'm with Joe Potocznik, JP Roofing and Siding. Congratulations, Joe. Triple Crown winner from Owens Corning.
Yes, Larry. We are proud to announce that we are recognized for service excellence, product excellence, and MVP based on marketing leadership and customer service.
Call Joe and his team. You'll get the best of the best. Get a free estimate for roof and siding replacements. Call the roofing replacement experts at JP Roofing and Siding. 412-829-7711. Congrats, Joe.
Thank you, Larry.
Folks, Marty, you know how I feel about MetaConnect. It's unbelievable. Unbelievable entity and agency, and they're so interested in helping you. So, don't let a medical emergency become a financial emergency. They're teams at MetaConnect. They see this happen far too often. Call them to meet in your home, online, or in their office to discuss Medicare plans and the right one for you. There are 70 different options. Medicare plans in this region. The best part, no fee for any of their services. 888-818-6334. MediConnect.
If you are new to Medicare and have questions, Aetna can help. Aetna has a Medicare Advantage plan that includes prescription drug coverage with a $0 monthly plan premium. Plus, the plan includes benefits like dental, vision, and hearing. Call Aetna today at 1-833-771-3415 to learn more. A licensed agent will answer your call.
Aetna Medicare is an HMO PPO plan with a Medicare contract. Our DSMPs also have contracts with state Medicaid programs. Enrollment in our plans depends on contract renewal. Plan features and availability may vary by service area.
When you call yourself the voice of Pittsburgh, you have to know when to not talk. Sometimes you just need to be the ears of Pittsburgh. Just listen. Listen to what you have to say. These are complicated and uncertain times, but when you need us, we are here for you, and we're listening. A trusted source that you can count on to be here. 100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA.
If you're 55 or older and into that whole saving money thing, T-Mobile has an exclusive phone and internet bundle just for you. Right now, get 2 unlimited phone lines plus 5G home internet for just $30 each per month with AutoPay, plus taxes and fees. And with 5G home internet, setup is easy with just 1 cord and no technician needed, which is great if you're also into that whole keeping it simple thing. Switch now and experience the best mobile network in the U.S. Visit your local store to start saving. T-Mobile, it's better over here.
Based on analysis by Ookla of speed test intelligence data Q4 2024 to Q1 2025. Ookla trademarks used under license. Unlimited on our network. Customers on voice plan may notice speeds lower than other customers and further reduction if using more than 50 gigs a month due to data prioritization. Video streams and SD on this plan. Home internet pricing after $20 and monthly bill credit plus $5 per line without autopay. Debit or bank account required. See 5G device coverage and access details at T-Mobile.com.
Here's a few questions for you from California Psychics. Do your workdays seem to go on forever? Is your career progression as fast as downtown traffic? Or does your boss still not know your name?
Hey, you, Tina, Lisa, Sheila, whatever. Get that report to me by lunch, okay? It's Carrie, ma'am. Just get it done, Terry.
It's time to read the career warning signs and talk to California Psychics. We're always on hand to give you the career guidance you need. You see, we only connect you with the very best. In fact, 98% of the psychics who apply to work with us don't make the grade. That's why we can guarantee if your reading isn't life-changing, it's free. So you could soon be telling your boss where to stick that report.
Where are you going, Terry? Terry!
Experience the joy of certainty. California Psychics. Call 1-800-PREDICT today and get 20 minutes for just $20.
These are the people who make Pittsburgh work. This is Pittsburgh Works on 100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA.
All right, Nan Cohen, Total Talk. Back to you, Nan.
So, I guess I don't want to make a thing about it because I'm going to have a couple judges come on. But is there something in the air down there? I've never had chitter chatter about co-parenting the way we've had of recent.
And I just think it's people in general. People are always arguing. I mean, people are just argumentative anymore. I don't know what happened.
I've just never seen boom co-parenting, boom co-parenting, boom co. And I don't want to harp on it because it's so simplistic. I tried when I work with people, it's all transactional. Just get yourself in a business mode where you know what the rules are. How many times has even Kim Eaton says, I'm going to give you, if you're going to come to me, by the time you get to me to make an order, you're usually not going to like what you're going to get. But it's a guideline. And then you get the ones that live or die by that order. And when you have to live like that, it's, you got to be on time. You got to have the respect. If you're going to be late, let them know. Your children are waiting there. Is that right to do that? I don't know. It's just, I guess it comes down to almost what, Rob can get into these discussions. There's just no respect anymore in the world for anything. And I think 24-25 has been the ultimate in my career in divorce, where there's just no respect when it comes to.
No, I agree. People need to sit back and say, what's best for the child? Not like, they always think they're trying to win a war.
Right.
Yeah, I'm going to score points. I'm right. Who cares?
And it's over. And I don't care what went on 20 years ago, and I don't care what happened. It's the age and stage of your children, and they are growing and developing, and you have to step up. And it's like you say, did I really say that? That's what I really had to say.
Yeah. And like, Kim Eaton, you mentioned her name, and she's one to always say, you're a product, the kid's a product of both of you.
Right.
When you badmouth the other side, the kid's saying, oh, that's 50% me, so I must be crappy too. Just quit it.
And the challenging pieces, these children, I always say, they will always forgive, but they don't forget. And sometimes it gets out of balance on what they're willing to forgive for, because the forget place, is full.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to really watch. And I get it that it didn't work. I accept it. I believe you. It was, inevitably, I don't want anybody to get divorced, but inevitably it's going to happen. But you're seeing this, and these people that stay in these long-term marriages, you're not doing yourself any better by trying to live that life, because it's affecting the children. At that point, I have to say, it might be time to get divorced. But stepping into this arena, I just think it comes down to a whole society piece with the respect piece coming in.
Right.
So, all right, when we're talking about number one thing, it's another subject that comes up. Dan, what do you do if you want to get divorced or you're thinking about it? And I don't want to start off with everybody looking for that attorney that's a shark. And, I hate those. Oh, God, you're the shark. No, you don't. What do you need that for?
No, you don't.
But what are the beginning pieces?
Gather information. Like, there's always usually one spouse that's in the dark, and I hate to say it, it's not always the female that's in the dark. Most of the time, in my experience lately, it's the other way around. The guy gives wife all the business records. She takes care of all the finances. He has no idea what's going on. So you need to gather information, financial information, tax returns, just simple things. Find out what his pension's worth, what her pension's worth. Go through the house, find those documents. That's the start for the property distribution.
And, people don't realize that they have a marital estate.
Mm-hmm.
Can we define that for people?
Marital estate's pretty simple, but people just have this preconceived notion in their head. In fact, I had a client today. Well, my wife's pension's in her name only. I guess I'm not entitled to that. Yes, you are. She worked in the entire marriage. So the simple answer is anything that's earned during the marriage is considered marital property.
So I always say, look at it like this. From the day you said, I do, to the date of separation. And again, let's not get all in a tissy here over... There is no legal separation in Pennsylvania.
Correct.
But we do have to define your date of separation.
The date of separation, right.
How do you do that, Dan?
Well, it's pretty easy. The day you separate, that's one. If you file for divorce, even if you're living in the same house, Pennsylvania assumes that's the date of separation. So if anything you earned in between there,
From
together, separately, right.
To the date. And so then I hear this all the time. Ready? Well, the cars are in his name. Those bills are in her name. That I don't have anything to do with that. I didn't know anything about that. How does that work? I'm quite surprised that for all these years of doing this talk show, people still come up to me and they'll ask me these questions. Yeah, and you said that their cars, it's in his name. I don't know anything about it. I don't want to pay those bills. I don't owe that money on that car.
Yeah, I hear that a lot as well. It doesn't matter. It's still marital property.
Even though
it's titled in one person's name or the other, if it was purchased during marriage.
And property, real estate. Talk to me about that.
Well, that's getting a little fuzzier as time goes on, just because people complicate things. I have a lot of couples that never got married, and houses in one person's name. Well, there's a problem there. You're not going to get half of that house, It's like it was in her name before you got married. It's still going to be in her name before you got together, I should say. I'm sorry, in that example. But yeah, there's problems. And you have the other problems when some couples buy a house before marriage. They never put the other spouse's name on there. So that causes somewhat of a problem. I mean, it's still, if you're paying off the mortgage during the marriage, you get credit for that, even though she was paying the mortgage and you were just living there. But it's a little more complicated then.
Talk to me about debt load. Credit cards. I didn't know she had that Target card. I didn't know he had that Dick's Sporting card. I didn't know any of this. What do you mean? Why am I responsible for that?
Because you should have known. That's simple as it gets. Pay attention. Honestly, I run across that as well, and it doesn't really matter unless there are exceptions, of course. If the one spouse was spending all the money on gambling, that's on that spouse.
Right, and those things get
Right.
They do due diligence and can make those factors to be proven.
Right.
But when you're talking about it, you just don't get to say, "Hey, I just didn't know."
Yeah.
What happens on some deeper things? We're going to pick that up at the next segment. I'm going to take a break from divorce just for a little bit because I just wanted to ease into
Talk
divorce.
about something more fun.
Well, yeah, we're talking about generating money. But with that being said, you can always find me, Nan Cohen, Divorce Reality Expert, divorcerealityexpert.com. You can always find me on phone, 412-996-3346. Mr. McIntyre will give your information out when we get back. Rob's looking at me. Let's do this commercial thing.
All right, we'll take a break. We'll come back. Much more with Nan Cohen. Paul's got the news coming up in just a couple of minutes. Hey, as always, you can listen to us at 100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDK or on the Odyssey app, AUDACY. But you can also watch us with the KDK video stream presented by Metropolitan Window Company. Just go to kdkradio.com and click on KDK Radio Livestream, or now you can check us out like right now on our KDK Radio YouTube channel. It's your Pratt Pack. More to come in a moment. Stay with us.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $200-$300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code MOVE to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code MOVE for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code MOVE for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
From the Aetna Studios.
Proud to be the voice of Pittsburgh. 100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA.
Partly cloudy and 77 degrees at Pittsburgh International at 7:30. I'm Paul Alexander. The man accused of assassinating conservative activist Charlie Kirk at a Utah university has been charged with aggravated murder. The charge means 22-year-old Tyler Robinson could face the death penalty if convicted of killing Kirk at Utah Valley University in Orem. Kirk was gunned down September 10th as he spoke with students and died soon after. Utah County Attorney Jeff Gray says the crimes could mean Robinson would face the death penalty. Former federal prosecutor Lori Levinson provides some context.
The Utah County prosecutor is not only seeking aggravated murder charges against Tyler Robinson, which may include the death penalty, but a range of other charges as well, including with tampering with witnesses, obstruction of justice, gun charges. It is very clear that the prosecutor in that county, as many across the nation, are taking this case extremely seriously.
Robinson will remain in jail without bail. Governor Josh Shapiro gave the keynote address today at the Eradicate Hate Summit in downtown Pittsburgh. He recounted how both Republican and Democratic predecessors reached out to him after the fire this year at the governor's residence. He says people pulling together regardless of party is in line with the vision William Penn had when founding the Pennsylvania. He says President Trump has failed to live up to that spirit, accusing him of cherry-picking which acts of political violence he'll condemn.
We need to be universal in our condemnation. And the president has once again failed that leadership test, failed the morality test. And it makes us all less safe.
Shapiro also addressed the ongoing budget stalemate, calling on Senate and House leadership to iron out what he calls pretty small differences and send him a budget he can sign. Chances are you've probably lost something in the dryer before, but Allegheny County Sheriff Kevin Krause says his deputies made a big find Saturday inside a dryer in Braddock. A man wanted on a bench warrant on firearms charges.
He was all the way in and the door was closed somehow. So
that's how they found him. They opened the dryer door and they gave him commands to take him into custody.
32-year-old Devontae Youngblood was taken into custody. He's in the Allegheny County Jail, unable to post bond. 2 city council members are planning to introduce legislation to change Pittsburgh's zoning code in response to rapid expansion of vape shops. Councilman Bobby Wilson tells KDKA Radio some vape shops have become hangouts where violent incidents have been reported.
They're taking over our neighborhoods. I mean, it's causing nuisance. I see them as being, predatory towards our children, our youth, our high school youth. I think that it's caused some headaches in a lot of neighborhoods, especially downtown.
Vape shops in Allegheny County have more than tripled, with nearly 30 in downtown alone. Councilman Bobby Wilson calls it a hub for unregulated sales. KDKA Sports, Pirates trail the Cubs 3-1. That's in the top half of the third inning at PNC Park. KDKA Radio News Time is 7:32. Our next update at 8 o'clock. I'm Paul Alexander, and the voice of Pittsburgh News Radio, KDKA.
We're all human with the same insecurities, doubting ourselves, thinking we're not worthy or good enough, believing those negative thoughts we think. Stop! Every last one of us is good enough to be the best version of ourselves. This is Dr. Shufo from the Weight Loss and Wellness Center. Come to me, and together we'll change that way of thinking. Excess pounds will come off, you'll feel and look better, and thoughts will become positive. If you want to change, just call me at 1-800-900-THIN.
If you're 55 or older and into that whole saving money thing, T-Mobile has an exclusive phone and internet bundle just for you. Right now, get 2 unlimited phone lines plus 5G home internet for just $30 each per month with AutoPay, plus taxes and fees. And with 5G home internet, setup is easy with just 1 cord and no technician needed, which is great if you're also into that whole keeping it simple thing. Switch now and experience the best mobile network in the U.S. Visit your local store to start saving. T-Mobile, it's better over here.
Based on analysis by Ookla of speed test intelligence data Q4 2024 to Q1 2025, Ookla trademarks used under license. Unlimited on our network. Customers on voice plan may notice speeds lower than other customers, and further reduction if using more than 50 gigs a month due to data prioritization. Video streams and SD on this plan. Home internet pricing after $20 a monthly bill credit plus $5 per line without autopay. Debit or bank account required. See 5G device coverage and access details at T-Mobile.com.
Hey, what's up? It's your pretty kitty on your radio checking in for the Children's Sickle Cell Foundation. September is National Sickle Cell Awareness Month, and on September 21st, there's a few events I don't want you to miss. There will be a memorial balloon release from 1 to 3 at Grandview Park, and during that day, I need you to wear red. Yep, wear red in support of sickle cell. Make sure you wear red, take a picture, post and tag the Children's Sickle Cell Foundation on Facebook or Instagram. Use the hashtag #WearRed for SCD, and then make a donation. Tag 3 friends and join in the fun. Find us on our Facebook for the QR code and to learn more. To sign up for updates and access community-based services, you can call 1-855-SICKLE-8 or text SICKLE to 66866.
The KDKA AccuWeather forecast is brought to you by JP Roofing and Siding, Pittsburgh's #1 Platinum Preferred Roofing Replacement Contractor. Call 412-829-7711.
Dry weather continues. Mostly clear tonight, down to 57. Partly sunny tomorrow, nice up to 81. Mostly clear tomorrow night, low 56. Sunny and a little warmer Thursday, high 85. For AccuWeather, I'm meteorologist John Feerick, 100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA.
Want to live a happier, healthier, pain-free life? Tune to Pittsburgh Works this Saturday morning at 7. Jessica Festa of the Optilux Wellness Center will feature all the services offered, including PRP, regenerative medicine, and massage therapy. Listen and heal this Saturday morning at 7.
The KDKA radio text line is driven by Kenny Ross Auto Group. Find your best deal and Pittsburgh's best warranty at KennyRoss.com.
The following is paid for by Nanco and Total Talk.
These are the people who make Pittsburgh work. This is Pittsburgh Works on 100.1 FM and AM 1020. KDKA.
Savvy again. Let's find out all about it.
So I've been doing this for years, Rob, and I have a following. People want my stuff anyhow, so I make a good use because I recycle my own money, and that's how I always can get new things. And I am so excited to bring Savvy again to my time on the air, and they're going to be back and forth with us as the course of the year, and we're going to really get going before Christmas. But I want to introduce Dana Sorry, Dana, I love you. You know I wanted you here. And here's the story. You've just opened up on Route 19.
3240.
There you
Washington
go. Move
Road.
right into that mic. And savvy again, because everything you have is just flair. You sell it. You know it. You've been in the business for over 20 years. You've taken care of my stuff for years. And actually, you just sold something nice of mine. Oh, you wanted, I didn't think I knew that. Actually, I think my daughter told me. But yeah, so when you get to the point where you're not going to need stuff, and I get the news feeds, resale, thrifting, all these things are really popular now. Absolutely perfect timing for you to open up, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, so welcome to me, to Rob. Rob's all about this. He's been watching all this stuff come out.
Thank you.
Give us a little bit of history about yourself.
Like you said, I've been in the business over 20 years. Ran a local store for all that time. We were in Peters at Donaldson's Crossroads, and then over to the Green Tree, Mount Lebanon area. And now we're back in Peters.
I love it. I love it.
We love it there.
And you know me, crossing the bridge over the hills and through the tunnels, I still make it out
She
there.
makes it.
I make it there, and I love to bring my stuff. I love what you do, and you get great, you have great consigners out there that bring you really good stuff. And I'm going to tell you, between her clothing, you do shoes, you do jewelry, home accessories. I mean, furniture. Some of the stuff is just unique. I mean, I sell those 2 chairs. I'm like, if you were looking for that, it's just perfect. And you seem to get the stuff right.
Yeah.
Right.
We got 2 recliners today. Gone today.
It's the way it goes. I was super impressed, and I'm so glad you brought this, because I always want to know what Mackenzie Childs things that you get in at your store.
We get a lot. And we have a Mackenzie Childs kitchen table coming.
Oh, really?
Yes.
How special is this? And you do by season there. Mm-hmm. You do all stuff all the time, but you do feature the holiday stuff, the giftware and all that. I mean, this stuff is great. And I mean, I'm thinking, well, the pumpkin should probably go home with me tonight because that's where it needs to go. But we'll talk about that after the show. I know you do a lot of the high-end stuff.
We do.
And you brought some of it here. I don't know what I like first, but you've got everything from the Gucci stuff, right?
Yeah.
The Gucci wall. I mean, the stuff is in perfect condition.
Yeah, we try to be very particular and be sure everything is authentic.
And I was going to ask you about that. So you authenticate everything.
We do. Either it comes with the receipt or it's authenticated.
And you do your homework, because I've watched you. You know, I was watching you in the store the other day. She literally looks at your stuff and she prices appropriately for the market, but you have to validate that it's people come in and say, well, I've had this thing for 20 years. Is it really a vintage piece or is it a current thing? Oh, we forgot to mention Miss Molly. She's standing here like our Vanna White. Molly's like our Vanna White here today. Yeah. Okay, just do our thing. Yes. I know that you brought some fabulous stuff, and I wanted to mention for everybody, we're going to get to your phone number, we're going to get to your store, but you love certain designers, and I want to say certain pieces in what you do and what you don't take. But I got to tell you, rocking the Lululemon.
Lulu sells really, really well.
The Lululemon pieces are
We get a ton of it in and out fast.
Yeah, well, because you know the price of it?
Yes.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, this is so cute.
It's adorable.
Molly, this would look really great on you.
The hood is so cute.
She's thinking about that. But so tell me about some of the brands that you're representing in your store.
We have a lot of Louis, Gucci.
That's Louis Vuitton?
Yes. Louis Vuitton, the Saint Laurent, the Gucci. We have a lot of them.
How about these Valentino?
Oh, the Valentinos are adorable. The Valentino sneakers.
Those are crazy nice.
Yeah, we have a Gucci pair.
They have the rock star on them.
Yep. Not too many rock studs, but they're enough.
Nan knows this.
Yep.
Nan knows this stuff, huh? How about those Gucci boots?
Yep. Ready for the rainy weather. Cold.
Oh, these are amazing.
They're like brand new.
These are just like, amazing.
Yeah.
Are these my size?
No. Well, no, they are. They're.
Oh, yeah, they are. Oh, yeah, they are. So I love that you're always on par and you really hit the fashion I mean, you're going to come out of there, and I don't want everybody to think it's just the designer high-end stuff.
No,
So
we have
go ahead.
standalone stores, like
The Gap. I'm going to throw them out.
we
Tell
we
me yes
don't
or
do
no.
a whole lot of Gap.
Chico's,
We do Chico's, Talbot's,
J. Crew.
J. Crew, Anthropology. We do a ton of Anthropology, ton of Free People.
Yeah.
Yeah, people love it. It's in and out fast. Just the higher end, nicer brands, current styles, past 2 to 3 years. And we try to price it, a fair price.
I like the fact of the consignment piece to it, and I donate an awful lot of my stuff, but some of the higher end stuff and the stuff, my stuff, go ahead and say it. It doesn't come to you worn, does it?
No. It's beautiful.
Yeah. And so I take care of my stuff. I bring it out there. You price it. She keeps an accounting for it. You can go in and you can look at it. Minimal consignment cost. Minimal fee to work with you through your store. Give us all the details, your store hours. We've got tons more. We're going to bring in, we'll do a coat show. We'll do this show, a shoe
Because we
show.
have so much. It was so
right.
hard to pick what to bring.
And that's okay. You can do that this time. Next time, I'm going to be a little tougher on you. But
okay, good.
Mall have to move back and forth more. Give
We're
everybody
going to have to bring you guys out here.
savvy again. Tell them where they can find you at.
3240 Washington Road. Peters Township, yeah.
So you're up past, I just do it. I go past South Hills Village and I go up there and it's up there on the right.
Yes.
Is that right?
We have a nice blue teal sign.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
can't miss it from there. It kind of shines.
You're such a welcome. You care for all of our stuff. You're sending us nice checks. On the flip side of it, it's stuff that should be, and it's going to somebody else that can use it at that stage. I would say to you, call the store, get yourself scheduled, stop out, see. They've got everything covered in there. I'm so thrilled that you're going to be joining us.
We'll help you with everything, walk you through everything.
Yeah.
It's very simple. We try to keep it as simple as possible. But yeah, like you said, people are really surprised how large their checks have been.
Yeah.
It's been wonderful.
I love you. You know that. I was a big push for you to do it. And I said you're going to be on the radio with us. I know Rob and I will love having you in here. Molly Wally, we're going to get you back in here. Dude, you're going to be in here as the Vanna White, okay? She was nervous about what are you going to make me do. So I know you're going to go to commercial break, Rob. Savvy again. We're going to have him back.
All right. Sounds good. Good job. We'll be back with more in just a moment.
The KDKA Mobile News Fleet is driven by Jim Shorkey Kia, North Huntington and Wexford. JimShorkeyKia.com.
Get connected. That's the Inside Connection this Saturday morning at 9 with your local Medicare experts from MediConnect. If you're turning 65, hear all the inside information available to seniors on the Inside Connection, presented by MediConnect. Medicare made simple.
Hello, this is Sarah Botkin, president of Botkin Family Wealth Management. It's been years since my dad Les, brother Lester, and I resigned from a Wall Street brokerage to open our family-owned investment firm. I felt energized about our new venture, but uncertain about our clients' reactions. Would they follow us or stay with a big Wall Street name? We were thrilled when the reaction was one of congratulation, and we've experienced tremendous growth since we opened our doors in 2015. People seek us out because they don't want to be lost in the shuffle of a huge company. Dad and I are certified financial planners, and Lester is a chartered financial analyst. We deliver big resources in a personalized environment where you're important to all of us. Firms turn over all the time. Advisors turn over. We don't. We're headquartered in the South Hills of Pittsburgh. We live here and we work here in the building that we bought together. It's our family helping your family. Find out more at botkinfamilywealth.com.
Securities offered through LPL Financial, member FINRA SIPC.
If you're 55 or older and into that whole saving money thing, T-Mobile has an exclusive phone and internet bundle just for you. Right now, get 2 unlimited phone lines plus 5G home internet for just $30 each per month with autopay, plus taxes and fees. And with 5G home internet, setup is easy with just 1 cord and no technician needed, which is great if you're also into that whole keeping it simple thing. Switch now and experience the best mobile network in the U.S. Visit your local store to start saving. T-Mobile, it's better over here.
Based on analysis by Ookla of speed test intelligence data Q4 2024 to Q1 2025. Ookla trademarks used under license. Unlimited on our network. Customers on voice plan may notice speeds lower than other customers and further reduction if using more than 50 gigs a month due to data prioritization. Video streams and SD on this plan. Home internet pricing after $20 in monthly bill credit plus $5 per line without autopay. Debit or bank account required. See 5G device coverage and access details at T-Mobile.com.
Are you prepared to be transformed into a better version of yourself, shaped into a force that others can't imagine? We are part of something bigger, a force that never quits. You can transform your life. Check us out at Navy.com. America's Navy, forged by the sea.
Honey, I found the perfect place for my parents and us.
Where?
St. Barnabas. For us, the Woodlands Carriage Home Community. And for my parents, condominium-style living at the Village. My folks will love the Village. There's an indoor mall with shops, restaurants, and more. And we can relax, knowing they're safe and secure.
That's what I plan to do when we move to St. Barnabas. Relax.
Call 724-444-5568 or visit stbarnabascommunities.com.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio.
Your home equity could vanish almost overnight, stolen by scammers who forge a deed and transfer it out of your name. The FBI calls it house stealing, and the worst part is you may not know it until it's too late. Find out if you're already a victim now at HomeTitleLock.com. Use promo code RADIO for a 30-day free trial, a title scan, and access to a title specialist, a $250 value. Go to HomeTitleLock.com now. Promo code RADIO.
This September, show your power. Support the Greater Pittsburgh Community Food Bank during Hunger Action Month by donating, volunteering, or advocating. Every dollar, every hour, every voice. That's the power of you. Visit PittsburghFoodBank.org today.
SchultzFord.com. 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 SchultzFord.com.
Have some exterior home improvement problems and just don't know who to call? Call PJ Fitzpatrick to diagnose and fix your problems. PJ will come to your home with a complete shop on their truck, and they can fix it all on the same day. Poorly sealed windows, overflowing gutters, rotted trim, and leaking roofs. This is the time to call the home repair experts at PJ Fitzpatrick. No job too big or too small. Visit them at trustpj.com. With over 45 years of experience, they'll fix it right the first time. Visit trustpj.com and stay off the ladders.
Listen to KDKA Radio on the Odyssey, iHeartRadio, or TuneIn apps.
These are the people who make Pittsburgh work. This is Pittsburgh Works on 100.1 FM and AM 1020. KDKA.
All right, back to Nan and Mr. McIntyre. One more segment, Nan Cohen, Total Talk.
Boy, you go to commercial break, they bring in all that stuff. I got a Chanel skirt they're showing up. I think that might have to go home with me. That's just beautiful. I mean, outstanding. And then I was told that this Yves Saint Laurent purse is available at their store now. And it is gorgeous. And it's actually available at Nordstrom right now. So full retail. I mean, this bag is beautiful. I mean, it's unbelievable, the condition. Well, I think this show cost me coming in the door. Dan, can you buy dinner tonight?
Sure.
Oh, he got me. We're going for dinner. Thanks, Dan. I'll take the YSL and the Chanel. All right, so that's Savvy again. I'm excited. Paneras. I'm so excited to have them back. I love them. And popping back into, the Mulberry bag, too. Oh, you guys are really killing it. All right, back to divorce. We got to get our divorce clients, when they say they don't have, they need extra money, we got to get them out there to resell.
Sell their clothes.
Yeah, it's great. It's great. And you don't have to do it online because they do it all for you in the store. So it's even better. All right, back to that finance piece of what's mine and what's not mine. It's all yours. You can't tell us that, I didn't know you had that credit card. I didn't know they had that line of credit. What do you mean? And so that all comes out into the wash.
Correct.
Over all that. And I got to tell you, it's the process itself isn't complicated. when two people want to make it complicated, it really kicks off the complication piece. And that's where you get these divorces that are going on forever. And Diane's shaking his head like, yeah.
We had one of those.
I've noticed that the divorce process in a lot of cases has slimmed down, but the problem where we get that piece of the actual, this communication piece. It's like, and they say, Cohen, what can you do here? Cohen can't do anything until you're willing to work with the fact that you got to communicate. And so, yeah. Anything else on your end?
No, it's pretty much same old, same old.
So, we're going to get into more detailed shows about, people were thrilled that I brought in the private detective, and they were thrilled that I, bring in the therapist and the psychologist and psychiatrist and the judge. I'm going to do that more often, but I just want to get through the simplistic pieces without getting all those complicated pieces of what goes on through that divorce process. In the beginning is where I started, and I'm going to pick that up as we go along. It doesn't take much to file for divorce.
No.
And people think it's a big process.
It's not. It's pretty simple. The filing fee's under $300. You just names, places, where you got married, what county, whatever.
And people are still surprised that it only is the waiting year in Pennsylvania is a year.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of them still think it's 2 years.
Yes.
And that changed a couple of years ago.
It changed quite a few years ago.
Right.
Yeah.
So if somebody, you can technically get divorced in 90 days here in Pennsylvania. That's not always the norm. But
just to clarify that, you can sign the papers to consent to the divorce in 90 days. Then it goes sent to the divorce decree clerk, and there's no time frame. If 1,000 people all file on the same day, it's going to be a little longer. Before
right,
you
but those are the divorces that work through, and I can say in my career, the span of my career, we actually have had divorces that have ended in 90 days, and we've gotten that done. But then there's always the complication of those that have gone on for 8 years, and yeah, that's what I said, 8 years, and all that muck that goes along with that for stuff that just, you're going to have paperwork to do. You're going to have responsibility. If you didn't do it in the marriage, you're going to have to do it to finalize the marriage. The divorce, it's what's going to happen. And, people get sloppy post-divorce. They think that people have a wand once you're divorced, and we wave the wand and everything's separated and done.
No.
You said that so easy. Why is that?
Well, you have to have all the information, or, on the other hand, you have to have parties that don't care and just want to move on. And that's okay, too. I mean, I've had couples recently, more than I have in the past, that just come in with a package. You know what? She keeps her stuff. I keep my stuff. I don't care about her pension. She doesn't care about his. We wrap things up before the divorce even. So you can have both sides. But the other ones that, someone feels they're being wronged and the other person's lying and cheating, well, those go on forever because they keep on doing what we call discovery. Subpoena all his bank records, and I have one of those. It's literally going on for 10 years. The wife just doesn't believe anything he says. So she hired an attorney, and we signed authorizations. Knock yourself out. Find whatever you want, and they're not finding anything. It's like, so it's a shame to waste all that money on attorneys.
Well, I'll go up against you on that as a challenge, because I do think that there are things that you discover in discovery and my career, and believe me, we've got some great exciting news coming up where I'm going next. But I have to tell you, in the career span, we've discovered planes, trains, automobiles, extra children, extra businesses, and somebody that thought they were divorced and maybe remarried. I mean, you find it all.
Yeah, you do.
And so I don't want to make it easy. Go ahead and file discovery, because things do happen. And bank accounts are forgotten about, and assets are forgotten about, and discovery is there for those reasons. Mm-hmm. But I do think that you can end up spending a lot more money, because this is an equitable distribution state.
Correct. Which does not mean 50-50.
It's
like
not
everybody
equal.
Thinks.
Right. And people don't understand that. If you want to walk in and tell Dan to go ahead and separate it out, and it's 50-50, if you're the lesser potential person earner in that relationship, well, you're giving up something that you really need to be informed of. And I preach this to everybody: get yourself informed. There's a lot of people we can put in place for you to do that. Don't do it, because if you do it and you do it wrong, you don't get the opportunity to go back and do it again.
Correct.
So that's also big. I'm going to tell you, reach out to me. You can always find me at divorcerealityexpert.com, 412-996-3346. Dan, how do they get a hold of you?
412-835-5395.
You can always reach out. Savvy, again, thank you. Dana.
Thank you.
I just love you, Molly. We're going to have you back, Miss Vanna White. So we'll get you back in here in the studio again.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for the camera over there for Donna. Rob, I love you. You know that. I'll see you real back soon.
If my name was Ole Cassini or Givenchy, you'd really love me, right?
You are an icon, that's for sure.
That's right.
I don't know. I'm the delusional divorce expert. All right, stay with us. The news coming up next. Great to see these folks. We have a lot to get to on the other side. Stay with us.
The proceeding was paid for by Nanco and Total Talk. Information on the program was intended to solely further the public's general knowledge about the product. Opinions expressed should not be relied upon for any purpose by any member of the audience. News Radio KDKA does not guarantee the accuracy of any of the information heard on the preceding program. From office supplies to IT essentials, Amazon Business provides tools that help you save costs and make insight-based decisions. Learn how to bring your visions to life at AmazonBusiness.com.
The Village at St. Barnabas, the perfect place for mom.
Do you know what an ADU is, an accessory dwelling unit? I'm Lynn Hayes Freeland, and if you're anything like me, you have no clue what that means. That's why AARP is putting together a special workshop called Small Spaces, Big Impact, How ADUs Can Benefit Pittsburgh. Now, an ADU is something like an in-law suite or a cottage in the back of the house, a way to create living space that families can live together. Learn more at the workshop September 25th at 9:45 a.m. and you can register at aarp.org/local.
Are you having trouble hearing? Hearing loss can devastate the quality of your life. Now, there's an affordable fix for you or your loved one. Rated the best hearing aids of 2025 by Forbes Health, Audion Hearing has the highest quality hearing aids at the lowest prices, starting at just $98 a pair.
I actually like them better than my old $5,000 hearing aid.
I could not believe how my hearing and life changed.
Join over 1 million happy customers by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
Well, folks, fall is fast approaching, and the September Weiner Wellness Weekend is the 19th and 20th with workshops from 10 to 2 on Friday and Saturday featuring Dr. Tracy Stroop, Dr. Len Branswitz, and Dr. Dennis Courtney. A delicious, healthy lunch will be provided from 11 to 2, and, of course, lots of samples, healthy treats, all in honor of Jamie Dorley's birthday. The discounts on your favorite supplements start August 25th. All of this is the World of Wellness, 2419 Baldwick Road, Pittsburgh. That's 2419 Baldwick Road, Pittsburgh.
KDKA and KDKA-FM HD2 Pittsburgh. W261AX Pittsburgh.
Always live on the free Odyssey app. From the Aetna Studios.
Proud to be the voice of Pittsburgh. 100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA.
Partly cloudy and 74 degrees at Pittsburgh International at 8 o'clock. I'm Paul Alexander. Charges announced against a 22-year-old who prosecutors say shot and killed Charlie Kirk last week, who was speaking at a university in Utah. CBS News correspondent Matt Piper with the list of charges.
Charlie Kirk shooting suspect Tyler Robinson has been charged with aggravated murder, felony discharge of a firearm, 2 counts of obstruction of justice, 2 counts of witness tampering, and committing a violent offense in the presence of a child. Utah County Attorney Jeff Gray.
It bears reiterating that this case will be tried in a court of law consistent with our Constitution, not the court of public opinion.
In a text with his roommate, prosecutors say Robinson expressed concern about being unable to retrieve the rifle he had hidden after leaving the scene of the shooting because police had cordoned off the area. Matt Piper, CBS News.
As the reaction to the assassination of the conservative activist Charlie Kirk continues to spark more divisiveness, a gathering in Pittsburgh was held to try and bring people together. Governor Josh Shapiro was the keynote speaker at today's Eradicate Hate Summit at the David L. Lawrence Convention Center. News Radio KDK's David Ballarado was there and has more.
Speaking at the Eradicate Hate Summit downtown, Governor Josh Shapiro said political violence doesn't only affect those targeted and their loved ones, but all of us.
It tears at the fabric of American society and the fundamental principles that this nation was founded upon.
He said leaders have a responsibility to speak and act with moral clarity. At a post-speech news conference, he said President Trump has cherry-picked what violence he's willing to condemn. He says that fails both the leadership and the morality tests. Reporting downtown, David Ballarado, News Radio KDKA.
Citywide crime's effect on children prompted a council member to call for solutions at today's council meeting. News Radio KDKA's Tamara Rush has the details.
In a heartfelt plea to her fellow council members, Councilperson Teresa Kell-Smith urged action in response to a series of recent events, beginning with a youth football game in Chartier City that was disrupted by a confrontation involving drawn guns.
We shouldn't have to have armed security at games. These are kids.
She then spoke about the recent incidents in which several children lost their lives, allegedly at the hands of their mothers.
There's all kinds of things that we're hearing that are happening to our kids, whether it's in a foster home, whether it's in their natural home. Wherever it is, our kids are struggling and going through some horrific things.
Kell-Smith calls on council to act for meaningful change for the future of children. Tamira Rush, News Radio KDKA.
Attorney General Dave Sunday and local enforcement officials say they've arrested 19 people as part of a crackdown focusing on both illegal drugs and guns in the McKeesport area. Sunday says they also recovered 17 guns and $40,000 worth of cocaine, fentanyl, and heroin through Operation Summer Suppression.
This is not one single criminal organization. These are many bad actors who committed separate crimes.
Sunday says the effort is an example of how the collaborative efforts of the Allegheny County Gun Violence Task Force are paying off. KDK Sports, the Cubs lead the Bucks by the score of 3-1. They are now through 4 innings of play at PNC Park. KDK Radio News Time is 8:03. The AccuWeather forecast is next. I'm Paul Alexander, the voice of Pittsburgh News Radio, KDKA.
Shorkey Kia is knocking down payments on all the fan favorites. 25 Kia Sportage Hybrid LX all-wheel drive, only $198 a month for 24 months with $27.93 due at signing, or finance at low 1.9% APR for 60 months. These and more, all with low lease rates, that incredible warranty, and $500 more for your trade. Your deal, your way. What a great day. Visit us in North Huntington and Wexford or at shorkeykia.com. Call 1-855-410-4037 for complete details on all offers and terms.
Have you been diagnosed with metastatic prostate cancer? You may qualify for a clinical trial studying an investigational therapy designed to activate your immune system to fight cancer throughout the body. If your prostate cancer has spread and you've received prior hormone therapy, you may be eligible. Take the next step in your fight. Visit Legion100trial.com to learn more, or call 1-888-636-5344. That's Legion100trial.com or 1-888-636-5344.
It's time to replace your roof. What's the wise move? Getting a free, no-obligation roof and attic inspection? That's smart. Finding transparent pricing and flexible financing? That's brilliant. Working with the most trusted and reliable roofing company? Now that's genius. Home Genius Exteriors. Call now to get 50% off materials plus 0% APR and no payments till 2027. Call Home Genius Exteriors today at 855, the letter U, the letter R, Genius. See website for details.
The KDKA AccuWeather forecast is brought to you by JP Roofing and Siding, Pittsburgh's #1 Platinum Preferred Roofing Replacement Contractor. Call 412-829-7711.
Mostly clear tonight. We'll dip back into the mid-50s. Times of clouds and sunshine tomorrow up to 81. Mostly clear tomorrow night down to 56. And then sunny and very warm Thursday, high 85. We're AccuWeather. I'm John Feerick, 100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA.
Rob Frax on the voice of Pittsburgh, 100.1 FM and AM 1020, KDKA.
All right, here he is, worldwide columnist. You read him in the Trib, you read him in the PG, and they read him around the globe. He's Oliver Bateman. He's back in the Metropolitan Window video screen. You can see it, stream live, and hear it too by going to KDKARadio.com and clicking on KDKA Watch. Oliver, look, so earlier today, the president gives an impromptu press conference getting on Marine One, ready to take flight and head to the UK. They read your column in the UK, so that's one of the reasons you're here tonight. Do you actually think we still have the same relationship with the UK? Is it better or is it lukewarm? Your thoughts since the tariffs. And he talked about going to Windsor Castle and having some sit-downs with King Charles, who he sang his praises, and I couldn't agree more. So what's our relationship with this administration and the United Kingdom? Your thoughts. Good evening.
I am always puzzled by the foreign policy stuff with Trump because
I think as much as people overseas, like the overall people, there might be some, the reaction toward him might be mixed, just like it is in the United States. It seems like he has generally a good relationship with Keir Starmer, even though they're on opposite sides of the political spectrum.
Mm-hmm.
And in fact, it seems like the invitation for a second term state visit was handled better by Starmer and now King Charles than it was the last time it was he was invited by Theresa May, who was in the Tory party over there. So he seems to get along at times with world leaders and seems able to reach agreements with them. He was able to reach some agreements with the EU. He has dealt with over time and had good relationships with the Japanese. It's hard to read him, and you can't read the response to him just from the way that people are reacting to him domestically. So world leaders, even at times he's had good relations, even though he criticizes back and forth with Sheinbaum in Mexico, Carney in Canada. It seems to go back and forth, but some of it seems to be just in the order of negotiation. He's always sort of negotiating.
I've always been fascinated by the United Kingdom, and I was a huge fan of Queen Elizabeth, who has been gone 3 years now. And I loved her stiff upper lip, and people looked to her for courage and kind of a hero worship, and I was one of them. On the world stage right now, how is the royal family perceived, especially King Charles? Your thoughts?
I think King Charles has tried to, number one, carry on his mother's legacy. He had kind of a rough tabloid period in the wake of the Diana divorce and her unfortunate death, and the period after that, and drama with his kids and other things like that. But it seems like since becoming king, he has tried to, if anything, expand the role, at least in terms of tourism value and foreign policy value and public relations value, to expand the role of that office, which makes sense because he's worked over the years on issues that are important to him, like climate change and things like that. But it seems like he has a decent relationship with a lot of world leaders, and he has been able to use his ceremonial role effectively. That's about all they've got left in a lot of senses. The country is not as strong as it was 30 years ago or 50 years ago. And so if there's a special relationship between the U.S. And England, and I think there should be. I certainly benefit from it, and other writers here that write for places over there regularly benefit from it. But to the extent that there is a special relationship left, it is the primary country of settlement. It is the country you broke off for. We speak a common language. I think that there should be a stronger relationship or bond there, and we'll see how this visit goes. Hopefully that both sides can announce some victories to their people.
I was with a friend of mine who's the CEO of a company who spent some time in London. We were having a bit of dinner on Saturday, a childhood friend, and he simply raved about London, absolutely loved it, actually turned the job down to be closer to his aging parents here in the States. But he said if it would have been a different situation, he'd have taken the job basically to live in London. We have a love affair with London in this country, do we not?
Yeah. My wife and I love it, and we plan to go back soon. The daughter is a little bit older, but it's a great city. It's developed since I've last been there in 2017, but it's beautiful. The country itself is beautiful, whether it's York in the north or Cornwall on the west coast. The whole area is lots of picturesque places, lots of scenic places. London in particular, best museums, some of the best palaces. I won't go out of the way and say some of the best food, but some of the best Indian food that you can get. And just a center where it's had periods too, where it's sort of been the center of the world. And even in the 80s, it was a really happening town. And to this day, it's a financial center, so it's an important place. And it used to be you could easily get a direct from the Pittsburgh airport. You can't get a direct to too many places from this airport anymore.
All right, listen, I want to jump in and talk about a couple of other things, and then we'll get back to the business of some of the other major headlines, including the death of Charlie Kirk. But we're talking to Oliver Bateman, columnist. You read him in the Trib, you read him in the Post. He is read all around the world. Now, Prince Charles, the man who will be king, obviously, is kind of taken the forefront because of his father's chronological age, obviously. But I was happy to hear that Prince Harry actually went home a bit and also visited the troops in Ukraine. I think he is very important to the future of the royal family and the well-being of the United Kingdom, spiritually, mentally, emotionally, financially. Your thoughts on that, and then we'll change the topic. Go ahead.
Yeah, Harry's had an interesting run. I mean, a troubled run at times. Even seemed to break off from the royal family at one point. But I think, and they've had other people in that family over the past century, break off or disappear or go away. But certainly it's to their best interest to have all of them unified in doing public relations. That's really what they're paid for by the British by the British state, by the taxpayer, essentially, as they're maintained. They're a public relations arm and a museum arm of the country, and it's important that they be fulfilling that role. And I mean, they're looked to that way by a lot of the former Commonwealth countries as well. They're on currency in a lot of the former Commonwealth countries. The royal family is an important piece. And so to have him back in the fold is good for them, but it's just good overall for that country's selling of itself abroad.
How are they doing in the UK financially, and especially the tariffs? They supposedly have a deal. The president said today they may be looking to get a better deal. But financially, how is the United Kingdom right now? They're dealing with a number of things, including unable to get a lot of agriculture that they normally get from the United Kingdom. I mean, I've read stories it's very difficult to get a fresh vegetable in the UK. Your thoughts on that?
Yeah. I mean, their domestic agriculture is not like the United States can sustain itself on the food it produces. It does import certain things, but it could, if necessary, sustain itself. The United Kingdom is not able to do that, or they've developed, monoculture crops in one area or another, and so they have to import a lot of food. And leaving the EU and then not having enough truck drivers. They've had a chronic truck driver shortage there. They've had challenges with. Even though they've had a ton of immigration, they've had challenges fulfilling certain jobs. And then in terms of the dynamic economy, the United States economy is still very dynamic. And this region is going to have a lot of job creation in the years to come. United Kingdom is not a place that has seen really tremendous quarter-over-quarter GDP growth. You go and look at it; it's been pretty stagnant since COVID, quite honestly. And it's a shame because all the fundamentals are there. Financial center, educated population. Some of the world's better universities, and certainly some of the older universities, and a tremendous, I say as a writer who works with editors over there, still a tremendous reading culture, newspaper culture, tremendous journalism base. But I think they're up against challenges that they're a smaller country. They're not tied to the EU anymore, and they would be better off, honestly, tied to the United States in some kind of union. But that's never going to happen. It'd be wonderful to have a Canada, UK, even Australia, a union of the English-speaking countries of the world, and we're never going to have that. But it'd be great.
Great idea. All right, now, Charlie Kirk, your thoughts, this horrible, horrific incident that still has the world stunned. Go ahead.
Well, as I wrote for that British publication, Unheard, everybody has said everything about his political views or his this or his that. But the one thing I emphasized when I wrote about his death in that terrible way was that he was probably the most effective. And I talked that night in an event, an AI event that I attended for Real Clear, which is one of the groups I write for. I talked to some GOP legislators here in the state. And they said, his real legacy is as an organizer. I mean, he helped win that turning points in its organizational arm and its app and its enrollment of young voters was really one of the turning points of the 2024 election. And people didn't think that was going to be the case, but it helped make up the lack of a ground game in Arizona. Mm-hmm. It helped in Pennsylvania. There are now a lot of state GOPs that going into the next cycle, we're planning on just running entirely through that organization. That organization brings in something like, I was looking at its filings, like $100 million passed through TPUSA now. And it's a huge organizational effort. And I mean, he was almost he was like an honorary party member, even though he wasn't in the cabinet. And he was as instrumental in Trump's victory as an organizer probably as anybody in the administration right now. I mean, more than the VP, more than anybody else. And so that's going to be a huge loss for them going forward, even if other people run that organization or do what they do. And then two, I'm working on a blockbuster piece with Penn Live with another reporter where we are looking at, and we're getting the data on. I'm talking to somebody tomorrow. The guy I'm writing it with at Penn Live has talked to some people today. We're talking to campus organizers and campus Republicans and how this event has affected them. And the early returns, Rob, look like, there's going to be a lot of energy going into the midterms in terms of enrolling new Republicans. There's already been a lot of energy in terms of, I was talking to a guy named Albert Eisenberg that helps enroll Latinos in Pennsylvania. There's been a tremendous amount of energy even before that event. And it seems like they're going to use this very much as an organizing push. And we're probably going to see some more swings, whether it's on Pitt's campus or Penn State's campus or everywhere else. I mean, Penn State's campus already swung from 2020 to 24, that region, when you look at it. And I think that the Kirk death is only going to further galvanize that. Like, the party is very motivated. Young people are very affected by what they've seen on social media, either left or right. They're very they're either very worked up or they're very upset or or both. And so a lot of that energy is on the Republican side. And so I think it's going to be turned into a lot of organizational stuff.
Okay.
I mean, that's going to be something that Pennsylvania is a state on the cusp, and something like that could, we have a legislature at the state level that's badly and closely divided, and it could be. You see, even John Fetterman came out after this and said we have to talk about Trump differently.
Absolutely. All right, listen.
So what we're going to put together, and it's just a news report, but we're going to put it together, and it looks like, I don't have everything written up yet. You'll probably see it around in all the local papers and syndicate it as they do. But it looks like it's going to be a lot of energy for the Republicans based on that event. That it's a shocking image. And one thing that the kids saw, Rob, I don't think you might have seen it, but you could see that assassination from multiple angles, up close and personal on social media. You couldn't see that with Reagan, when he got shot. You couldn't see that with any of these other folks. You couldn't even really see it with Trump in 2024, Butler.
Right.
But with this, you have the cameras right on him, and so you would see the event. I mean, crazy.
All right, listen, I got to get to a break. I appreciate your time, and when that comes out, come back, okay?
Absolutely. It'll be a blockbuster.
Oliver Bateman. We'll be back to talk to you next. Your Pratt Pack, KDKA.
Your source for everything that's news. Hear it on News Radio KDKA.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting great candidates? Well, they're not hard to find when you go to ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. People who are actively looking for jobs like yours. So it's easy to find the right person fast. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Here's a tale of Becky. Didn't know what to do with new meds prescribed and no real cost clue.
She squinted at prices, that can't be right. Then tapped GoodRx and saw the light.
She can get a deal. Book telehealth if she feel.
Learn about those meds without any stress. That one little app does all the rest. Even my horse downloaded it. Dang, save time and money on prescriptions.
Check GoodRx. GoodRx is not insurance.
Hello, KDKA listeners. This is Carlos, owner of Greater Pitt Tree Service. If you have any concerns about any trees on your property, call Greater Pitt Tree Service, 412-884-TREE. We have an A+ rating on the Better Business Bureau. To serve your needs best, we have an ISA certified arborist on staff. We have 32 years experience, 412-884-TREE. We will be your best choice for tree work. Greater Pitt Tree Service, 412-884-TREE. And remember, we did your neighbor's tree.
Cooler days, shorter nights. Oh my gosh, is summer really coming to an end? It's just started, didn't it? This is Dr. Shufo from the Weight Loss and Wellness Center. This time is the best time to lose those excess pounds. Why? Because it's now. Give yourself this time to shed those pounds, feel and look better, fit into those clothes hidden in the closet and drawers, decrease or end those meds, move better, climb steps without being winded. Just call me at 1-800-900-THIN.
Contemplating retirement but worried you can't afford it because of high healthcare insurance costs? Dina Schmidt and her team at One Health Benefits will guide you on what's best for your retirement healthcare needs. One Health Benefits has been providing customized health benefit choices to retirees for over 2 decades. You'll probably be pleasantly surprised about the affordable options from One Health Benefits. Call today, 724-799-8873, or learn more at onehealthbenefits.com.
This is Ryan Schlabel with the Home Buyers of Pittsburgh, and I want to make your next home sale the easiest one yet. We've been saving people time, money, and stress for over a decade. You don't have to list with an agent, make any repairs, or have a long closing process. Just call 412-500-9057 for a good fit. Come to the house, make you a cash offer on the spot. My team will handle the rest. Dealing with a complicated situation? No problem. Call 412-500-9057 or visit homebuyersoftpittsburgh.com for a cash offer today.
For all station contest rules, go to kdkaradio.com/rules.
The KDKA radio text line is driven by Kenny Ross Auto Group. Find your best deal and Pittsburgh's best warranty at kennyross.com.
Listen to KDKA Radio on the Odyssey, iHeartRadio, or TuneIn apps.
Everything you need, every time you listen. 100.1 FM and AM 1020. KDKA.
All right, here we go. And as I told you when this story first broke, that we'd be talking about it for days, because there's a lot of different aspects of this story that need to be talked about. Today, first court appearance. We went through that earlier today for the suspected shooter. But I want to talk about role models. And I want to talk about why so many young people are thirsty for role models. And am I talking to you, the parents of these young people? Yes, I am. And I'm in that category. I can tell you right now, if I would contact any of my children from 23, 26, and 33, they would know everything about this person. And 2 of them are registered Democrats because they pay attention to people that are talking about issues. And they know what their father is talking about too. Always. Family, faith first. No matter what happens, even if things don't work out happily ever after, family, faith first. And I know some people say faith before family. I'll give you that. But to me, it's family and then faith. You have to have something to back you up, that second place, right? And that's faith to keep family together. You can pray to whomever, whatever you believe in, because that is your God-given right. And as you heard me, God-given right. But the most important thing on this earth is what's in front of you. It's not what's behind you, and it's your family. From the moment you bring those children into the world, as my father said after my first was born, congratulations, your life is no longer your own. But why? And I've been thinking about him, meaning Charlie Kirk, as a social media influencer, a man of family and faith. And it's sad because you want your children to have that partner, and you want them to have that peace and that journey and that joy that some of us weren't fortunate to have, like me, because it just wasn't meant to be. But I was able to provide because of my work ethic, sometimes over the top, many would say more times than not, and I lost sight of certain things. And that's why I admire people who understand time is money, because you can bank that time and reap rewards. It's like saving money, same thing. But the more time that you save and put in the bank that you have spent with your family, the dividends are unbelievable. Better than any wealth, meaning bottom line, money in the bank. But why so many young people looking to people like Charlie Kirk and others? Why so many following so many people on social media? What is it with scrolling and scrolling and scrolling and quoting and admiring and literally trying to emulate your life like them? Look, we didn't have social media when I was a child, and I mean a teenager, an adolescent, coming of age. Our role models were not the athletes that we admired or the celebrities that we enjoyed on the big screen, or that favorite musician, or just anybody who was in the public eye, because it always came down to what was in front of our own eyes, our parents, and we watched them nurture, love each other, protect each other, provide for each other, and the littlest things, my mother getting a cup of coffee for my father, my dad taking my mother out on a date every Saturday night throughout their entire marriage until he lost his battle with cancer. The little things, role models, things that our little eyes that turned into adult eyes saw. But something happened along the way. Now, more young people are looking to people like Charlie Kirk, and I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but can somebody explain to me why a social media influencer can become as massive and as big as this young man became, who was nothing more than what my parents were? They had strong opinions. They made us debate, talk issues at the dinner table, would share stories about what was making news, and would ask our opinion. But we watched them do that under the roof of our home in which they loved each other. And I can still see my mother and father at that dinner table gazing into each other's eyes when we were carrying on as 6 kids do that have too much sugar, right? But my mom and dad would do the little things, like that little drink at dinner, maybe that piece of cake that they would share together. And somebody once told me that he had a romantic dinner with his wife, that they split a bottle of beer. And to this day, I find that absolutely romantic. But I saw that in the eyes of Charlie Kirk and his wife. And those children holding them and loving and talking on video, reminding me of my own father on those 8mm films, or me with my babies when they were young on video. But there's got to be something missing. And it's a good thing that there are people out there influencing our children. But what are we not doing? What are we adults not doing that our kids aren't seeing things from us? It's the moral compass that is being just destroyed every single day. And we'll talk more about it on the other side. But if not for anything, he was showing them that having a family is a good thing. And for me, that's something we need to talk about. 866-391-1020.
Feeling it yet, Pittsburgh? The chill is in the air. The gray skies are on the way. This year, make winter an adventure for a change. Escape to the warm sand beaches of St. Thomas and the Florida Keys, or hit the fresh ski slopes at Deep Creek Lake. Whether you're chasing the sun or the snow, SWAC Vacation Rentals has the perfect place for your crew. Don't just get through winter, make it unforgettable. Book your getaway at SWAC, SWACK, vacations.com.
Indulge your senses with the perfect blend of wine, music, and dining at City Winery in the Strip District Terminal. Enjoy live performances from legendary artists and local favorites in an intimate listening room designed for an unforgettable concert experience. Savor locally sourced food and award-winning wine, all in a setting that brings music and flavor together like never before. Whether it's a night out with friends or a special occasion, make it memorable. Reserve your table now at citywinery.com/Pittsburgh.
See website for details. BillsHappen.com is not a lender. It does not make credit decisions. Must be 18 years old. Not available in all states.
Honey, everything is so expensive, and our bills are piling up.
You're telling me credit cards are maxed out, rent is due, and the car payment's right around the corner? We need some extra cash.
We should do what my friend from work did. She went to BillsHappen.com and got the money she needed the next day.
Our credit is not great. Are you sure that would work for us?
BillsHappen.com is one of the largest personal loan networks. They can help people with all credit types get up to $5,000.
Sounds like it's going to be a hassle.
My friend said it was super easy. She did it right from her phone during her lunch break.
If you have a regular source of income, you can be approved for a loan for up to $5,000, and your cash can hit your bank account the next day. BillsHappen.com's lenders have millions of dollars to lend, regardless of your credit history.
Guess what? I went to BillsHappen.com, and we're getting our money tomorrow.
Wow, that's fast. Problem solved.
If you need extra cash, go to BillsHappen.com. That's BillsHappen.com. BillsHappen.com.
This is certified elder law attorney Julian Gray, and I've been helping Pittsburghers for 30 years navigating the legal issues surrounding aging. Get ready for your retirement years and what lies ahead with a no-obligation consultation. Visit grayelderlaw.com.
Colin Dunlap on KDKA.
30% of adults in this country feel like some violence is okay to further a political cause. 30%. If you see 100 people walking around, 30 of them say, yeah, somebody gets beat down, somebody gets shot, somebody gets busted up. That's okay, as long as my side wins because of it. That's striking.
Weekdays 2 to 6 on the Voice of Pittsburgh. 100.1 FM and AM 1020. KDKA.
From the Aetna Studios.
Proud to be the voice of Pittsburgh. 100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA.
CBS News Brief. The Utah man now charged with killing conservative activist Charlie Kirk is charged with aggravated murder. If convicted, he could face the death penalty and a firing squad. CBS's Andres Gutierrez says of the suspect's first court appearance.
What stood out here was the fact that there was no plea and there was no visible emotion. The judge ordered him to be held without bond. The next hearing is happening here at the end of the month.
President Trump is in the UK, where he'll mix trade and tech talks and meet King Charles III, saying,
See him tomorrow, and he's been a friend of mine for a long time, and everybody respects him, and they love him.
He'll also hold talks with Prime Minister Keir Starmer. A memorable scene from the Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid.
I'll jump first. No. And you jump first. No, I said. What's the matter with you? I can't swim!
Academy Award-winning actor and director Robert Redford has died at 89. His publicist saying he died at his Utah home surrounded by loved ones. CBS News Brief, I'm Jennifer Kuiper.
Mint is still $15 a month for premium wireless. And if you haven't made the switch yet, here are 15 reasons why you should. 1, it's $15 a month. 2, seriously, it's $15 a month. 3, no big contracts. 4, I use it. 5, my mom uses it. Are you playing me off? That's what's happening, right? Okay.
Visit mintmobile.com/radio.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, $15 per month equivalent required. New customer offer first 3 months only. Then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See mintmobile.com.
Here's the tale of the daily med fill. Same old pharmacy, same old bill. But those prices kept rising higher still.
Till the savings wrangler rode in. Cool as can be. Tap Good RX. Saving massively.
No plan? Don't matter none. Up to 80% off. Deals are done.
Discounts hitting harder than Ma's chili. Dang. That one little app does all the rest.
Save time and money on prescriptions.
Check Good RX. Good RX is not insurance.
If you are new to Medicare and have questions, Aetna can help. Aetna has a Medicare Advantage plan that includes prescription drug coverage with a $0 monthly plan premium. Plus, the plan includes benefits like dental, vision, and hearing. Call Aetna today at 1-833-771-3415 to learn more. A licensed agent will answer your call.
Aetna Medicare is an HMO PPO plan with a Medicare contract. Our DSMPs also have contracts with state Medicaid programs. Enrollment in our plans depends on contract renewal. Plan features and availability may vary by service area.
One of the most iconic albums in history, Pet Sound, recreated like never before. Don't miss the ultimate tribute to Beach Boys, featuring the band Pet Sounds live at Jurgles on September 26th. Hear hits like Wouldn't It Be Nice, God Only Knows, and more. Pet Sounds live, September 26th at Jurgles. Get advance tickets now at jurgles.com. Another Drusky Entertainment event.
Hey folks, it's Marty. CCAC is the best. Whether you want to study robotics, cybersecurity, aviation, culinary arts, business management, or multimedia web programming, CCAC has it all. Folks, it's the real deal with expert instructors, industry-grade equipment, high-tech learning spaces, so much more. Want a big future with little debt? Register for fall classes right now. ccac.edu. Folks, I know friends who love it. ccac.edu.
The KDKA AccuWeather forecast is brought to you by JP Roofing and Siding, Pittsburgh's #1 Platinum Preferred Roofing Replacement Contractor. Call 412-829-7711.
Dry weather continues. Mostly clear tonight, down to 57. Partly sunny tomorrow, nice up to 81. Mostly clear tomorrow night, low 56. Sunny and a little warmer Thursday, high 85. For AccuWeather, I'm meteorologist John Feerick, 100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA.
What's up, America? It's Rich Valdez. On our next show, we're joined by the president of the Public Interest Legal Foundation, J. Christian Adams. He's going to tell us all about voter intimidation and a lot more. All of that's coming up with me on the next Rich Valdez, tonight at 10 p.m. on 100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA.
All right, your Pratt Pack here until 10 o'clock tonight. Now, tomorrow night, Attorney Phil DeLucente in the 8 o'clock hour talking about some of the things that took place in that courtroom today and the possibility of the death penalty. You heard CBS Radio News talking about that. Also, Rachel Heisler will be here after CBS Radio News at 9, talking about how to generate cash flow in the city of Pittsburgh. So we got a busy day tomorrow as well, and we'll wrap it up with you on the radio this week, tomorrow, 6 to 10. All right, listen, one other thing that I want to mention before I go to these phone calls. You can definitely, NASCO Roofing Instant Access, great way to get in touch with me or any of my colleagues. Click away, it's all you need to do. Email us at Instant Access, KDK, of course, radio. Last night, the phones were so busy that I missed out on a couple of Instant Access, and I do apologize because, believe me, if you take time to write something via Instant Access, I want to get to it. You're respectful. You write something, even if it's lengthy, even if I have to, edit it a little bit as I go, I'm going to get it on the air. So I don't want anybody to ever think that I do not put your messages on for whatever reason. If they are respectful, they're on the air. Same thing with the people that call in. So I appreciate each and every one of you. I just want to give you one more thing to think about, and then we're going to get to these phones. The death penalty. Our criminal justice system, this thing has to go through due process. And if there's appeals, that's the way the criminal justice system and our courts are meant to be. I have no problem with that. But I do know this. They have to get this right. The weight of the world, and I'll talk to Phil about this tomorrow night, and he is the best criminal defense attorney I believe this region has. There's some good ones, but I think Phil's the best. They got to get this right. They have to get it right because something has to be done to stop these horrific acts of violence. It's got to stop. And there has to be crime versus punishment and consequences. But again, innocent until proven guilty, has to go through due process. But Utah, the country will be watching. They have to get it right. So does the death penalty, in your opinion, if it does in fact turn out that this suspected shooter is the guy, does it warrant the death penalty? And should we start doing more when it comes to the death penalty in this country? How many of you have changed your opinion on it? I pretty much have been steadfast if you've been listening to me for a long time. And I'm a compassionate person, but this violence has to stop. And again, this is not so much about this young man's political beliefs, because I don't agree with everything. And I had some callers last night who had some very harsh things to say, but did it in a respectful way, but their opinion different. And they all started off by talking about how horrific and ugly this horrible murder was and will always be nothing but that. But they also understand the right to debate, and they didn't believe a lot of the things that he was saying was the right course. That's okay, I get it. But I want you to look at it from this point of view. A man, a wife, and children. And it's happening every day in this country because of the violence that continues to permeate the air. Our streets are full of blood. This stuff is everywhere, and I do not feel any different. More is what I'm talking about, respect for families, wherever they may be, popular or not, rich or poor, black or white. My prayers go out to those family members who are losing loved ones for whatever reason because of these violent acts. And it has to stop. And I think we need to be talking to our children and becoming role models in their life. You know, the old Charles Barkley ad, remember, I'm not your role model? It's true. Parents are supposed to be the role model. Look, when I do things now in my life, I always think about the consequences in my children. And I'm trying to put my life together in the final stages of my life, the final curtain, so my children will be able to have certain things. But they will never forget the dad that I was from the moment they were born. All of them. And it was important to me, losing sleep, doing whatever I had to do, bringing them to work, because I wanted my children to be able to grow up, even though I don't see them as much as I would like now. They have lives, they're grown up. But when they are there at my funeral, hopefully not for a while, but at this age, you don't know, that they will say he was a good dad. He made us laugh. He helped us when we needed it, but he was always there, even if it was around the corner. Look, I have spent more time with my children than my father ever did with me. My dad basically came home, ate at 4:30, went out and did some yard work, and was in bed by 7:30, So Sundays was like the only day. We weren't playing catch. It wasn't kumbaya sitting around the campfire. He would grunt more than talk. The one thing I knew I had in my dad was a man that got up every day, went to work, took care of his children. We always had a roof over our head and clothes on our back. No matter what, he was just down the hall, around the corner. And even when I became an adult and was dealing with adult problems, I would literally sometimes be petrified because I was worrying about my children. Are they going to turn out okay? Is everything going to be okay? Getting divorced, this, that, whatever. You know, going from one job, trying to take another job to make ends meet, working round the clock, going almost 20 years without a day off. Crazy when I look back on it. But my children always knew I was there. And when I saw that outpouring of love for Charlie Kirk at that Utah event, and then started doing the deep dive, even people who didn't agree with him, they were still showing up because young people are thirsty. They want an opportunity to speak like we did at that table when my dad would go, okay, pop quiz, and he would say, you're it. And even if you didn't have the answer, you at least felt as though your opinion mattered. We have to make our young people believe that their opinion matters, and we have to give them a vehicle. And we have to be parents, not friends, not buddies, not partners, but parents. You remember how your grandmother would knock you down a few sizes, right? Listen, my grandmother, my mom's mom, was so young when I was growing up that she was like a mother. She was in her 30s and 40s. But she used to, let me have it over the littlest things. She'd be upside and down the other, whatever, to get my attention. And I remember one time saying to my mom, you're so loving with me. You just do everything. But man, she's just like all over me. And she would say, she wants you to be like your father. And this wasn't her biological son, but she admired my dad as if he was. And she always talked about his work ethic, taking care of his family, loving his children, loving his wife, and always standing up for him, even though my mother thought he was wrong. Role model. She was a role model. Little things she would tell me, repeat over and over and over until I got it right. I wonder if we're doing the same thing with our children. When I see all of those beautiful children, Democrats, Republicans, white, black, whatever, out there in that field of humanity, waiting and literally holding their breath on each and every word he had to say, I'm saying, look, the youth of America cares. They want to talk. They look at him, even if they don't agree, as a role model. And there's nothing wrong. It's wonderful. No matter if you liked him or not. Anytime you can aspire to be someone who is respectful, even though not always right, you start talking, you get motivated, you want to make a difference, you want to feel as though you have a place at that table. That's fantastic. But I still believe, because there's such a great divide in this country, we as parents and grandparents need to do a better job. And if anything, talk about this guy as a father and a husband and paint that portrait for your children so they understand it may not be to the right, meaning a Republican issue, or to the left, a Democratic issue. It's about a human life. It's about respecting each other, giving each other the opportunity to embrace life, even if you don't agree with them. So this story, the death of Charlie Kirk, is horrific. But there's so much more to it than him being a social media influencer and a conservative. 866-391-1020. I want to get your calls right now. Let's go till 10 o'clock. Your Pratt Pack for a Tuesday night on KDKA 100.1 FM, AM 1020. Back to take your calls next.
It's the little things. The information you need. People you know. The little things that make a big difference. The voice of Pittsburgh, 100.1 FM and AM 1020, KDKA.
Actual price will depend on product and subscription plan. Featured products are compounded drug products, which the FDA does not approve or verify for safety, effectiveness, or quality. Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. See website for details, restrictions, and important safety information.
Want a boost in and out of the bedroom? Hims has you covered. Introducing a new 2-in-1 approach to level up your game. Tadalafil for better bedroom performance and zinc for testosterone support. Put it all together and you've got what you need to turn things all the way up. Getting started is simple. Just go to hims.com/joy to start your free online visit. Through Hims, you can access ED treatments including pills, chews, and more, 100% online. No office visits, no pharmacy lines. Just fill out a simple intake form and a licensed medical provider will determine if treatment's right for you. If prescribed, it ships free and discreetly to your door. Find affordable treatment options at up to 95% less than brand names at hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy, HIMS.com/JOY.
Life-changing medicine is happening every day at UPMC Heart and Vascular Institute.
We have the luxury to be bold, to continue to be pioneers in the world for innovative heart care.
We are the place of discovery. Literally, the world experts in cardiac care are in this institution.
By combining technology, research, and the latest innovations, patients from all over the world come to UPMC.
Because of the expertise that exists here at UPMC, it allows us to take on patients that have been turned down at other centers.
We offer unique heart procedures that you cannot get anywhere else.
One of our founding mantras is that compassion has to be at the forefront of everything that we do.
From leading the region in cardiac procedures to being the only center in the state to offer integrated women's health and heart care, UPMC is pioneering life-changing cardiac care every day. Your heart care matters. Visit upmc.com/heart to learn more.
At PJ Fitzpatrick, you don't have to pick between affordability and quality. You can get American-made windows that are beautiful, affordable, and energy efficient. PJ Fitzpatrick has a variety of financing packages that work with any budget. Plus, they provide peace of mind with a lifetime guarantee on materials and labor for your new windows. You can have it all. Visit trustpj.com for a free design consultation. That's trustpj.com.
Make 380 Auction to Murraysville your next stop for discounts and bargains. Trucks come in every week. 380 Auction has name brand furniture, fall mums, also tools, birdseed, automotive supplies, pet supplies, lawn and garden, toys, food, and new items arriving daily. 380 Auction is open Tuesday through Sunday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. or call 724-339-3132. That's 724-339-3132 or log on to shop380.com and save. This Tuesday at 7 p.m., join Nan Cohen for a doubleheader. Nan welcomes Dana Marsteller of Savvy Again Consignment Boutique, a new store in McMurray. In the second half, Dan McIntyre will join Nan to be totally talking divorce. That's this Tuesday at 7 p.m.
SchultzFord.com, 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 SchultzFord.com.
Where Pittsburgh comes to talk. 100.1 FM and AM 1020. KDKA.
All right, I'm sure it's going to be a busy night as it was last night, but please, I'm just going to tell you, we're talking about the death of a husband and a father, and just be respectful. That's all I'm saying, okay? Your opinion is very important, but the only way we have debate is actually being respectful of one another, something I kind of was alluding to in the opening monologue of this half hour. All right, here we go. It's Bill in Irwin. Bill, you're on KDK with your Pratt Pack. How are you?
I'm all right, Rob. You've hung up on me the last time I talked to you, I believe, but you know what? No hard feelings. No hard feelings. Right? Hello?
I'm here, Bill. I'm here, bud.
Oh, okay. All right, Rob, you asked, you had just asked, what is going on with the children in this country? Well, I look at it, it's like as soon as they turn 4, 5, it's when they go to school, Rob, they are taught, right? They are taught. Now, those children, believe me, I have 15 grandchildren, believe me, a lot are in school, but the children are taught by the teacher, the adult. Now, the problem is what I see, it's like the adult, the teacher, excuse me, is not teaching the children what they should be learning. They're teaching the children what's in their head. And the parents cannot change that. But the kids are leave for school at 7:30, and they don't come home till 3:34. they are in the school system. And that is the biggest problem, I do believe, in this country right now. I mean, teach history, teach math, teach English. But that, I totally believe, is not happening with the kids, with these children now, where, like I said, I got 15 grandchildren. One great-grandchild. All right, she's 15. Not 15, she's 2. And I am afraid to see her go to school, too.
All right, Bill. I got a lot of calls, so I got to move on, okay? And just call back anytime. Have a great night. Let's go to Will. I don't think it was me that hung up on him, but that's okay. Sometimes I do that, and sometimes you do it to me, but it's always another day, right? All right, let's go. A lot of calls, so limited time on everyone. Let's go to Will in McDonald on KDKA. Hey, Will.
Hey, how you doing today?
I'm good, buddy. How are you?
Yeah, I've been listening to you on and off. I've been wanting to call you a number of times on some of your subjects. You talk a whole lot of like what I understand, but my reason for calling tonight is the family structure. We don't have a family structure anymore. It's gone away. You know, when my two boys are now over 50 years old. My wife and I raised them, and we had a family structure. Every night, the four of us sat down for dinner and had dinner and talked about the day. Today, there is no family structure. There is no dinner at night. Most of the time, the parents don't know where the children are at night. You know, we're losing context with our children. We really are. And the schools say ain't like they used to be either. You know, things are really going to hell in a handbasket, I think, right now. And so our children today are looking for that role model. And Charlie spoke to these children. That's who he targeted, these children. He spoke to them. He gave them something to think about. He gave them somebody to look up to, whether it be good or whether it be bad. That remains to be seen. But he gave them somebody to look up to. He gave them a role model. And that's the reason, where our children are at today. They don't have anybody to look up to anymore. We lost the family structure. And I believe that's one of our biggest problems we have today with society.
All right, good stuff. Thank you. Let's get to TJ and Carrick. TJ, you're on with your Pratt Pack. Good evening.
Hey, Rob, wait until you hear the story. So I raised my son by myself since he's 2.5 years old. My son is now 27, but I raised him by myself since he's 2.5. And my son this is a good story. My son doesn't have a political bone in his body. He's not even a political thought in his head. He is so far away from politics. He doesn't know anything. He doesn't know anybody in politics whatsoever. And he comes to me. I'm hanging out in my living room. He comes to me, and he's walking by to get something out of the refrigerator, and he doesn't have any clue. All of a sudden, he stops. He says, "Dad, do you know this guy right here?" And he flips his phone over to me, and I says, "Yeah, that's Charlie Kirk." He says, "Yeah." He says, "I've been listening to him. I like him." This is my son he heard Charlie Kirk. So for older people like me, when Charlie Kirk died, that influence, whenever my son walked away, that's all he said, he got something out of the refrigerator, walked away, I had the biggest smile, and I'm thinking, man, I'm loving it. He's headed in the right direction. He's being influenced by a good person that's, God-fearing. I just loved that he was listening to him. And the reason he was listening to him was because Charlie Kirk was only 31 years old. So when he got killed, it's still very emotional for me every single day because I think about they took the guy that was going to influence my son that I couldn't reach myself, but Charlie Kirk could, that he's gone. And I say they. It was the influence of why this kid did this. So Charlie Kirk, to us, the people that are crying every day, we know what he meant. He was going to be president of the United States, I think, of one day. But here's what we loved him so much for. He was our only voice to reach the young people at colleges that they were listening, even if they didn't agree with him.
Well, that's what many people believe. You're right about that, TJ. That's what many people believe. Hey, got to get to the news. Appreciate the call. Gary, we'll get to you on the other side. Anybody else wants to jump in here, jump in and Call me right now. We're going to spend a little bit more time on this, but I really want to reserve some time tonight for the passing of Robert Redford. He was an incredible actor for sure, but an activist, believed in, climate control, climate change, and he believed in, keeping Mother Earth as organic as possible. And he did so many wonderful things as far as being a philanthropist, and with Sundance giving filmmakers an opportunity to work at their craft, especially foreign films. The guy, at 89 years of age, what he did with his life is absolutely amazing. And the body of work, I'm going to ask you some of your favorite Robert Redford movies. I'll be honest with you. There's not many that I don't like. I don't know if the guy was ever in a movie, even The Great Gatsby. I mentioned all these movies earlier today, long before Leonardo DiCaprio remade it. Robert Redford, he was gold. Box office gold for like 20 years. And everybody, he's the top story on the networks tonight, the lead story on every paper, from the Post-Gazette to the hometown paper. It's an amazing legacy. So we're going to share a memory or two with you about Robert Redford before we get out of here tonight. But if you want to talk about role models and what's happening in the world and what are we as parents and grandparents doing, why do you believe so many young people gravitated towards Charlie Kirk? There had to be something there that was enticing and interesting. Some agree with me, some don't. But the one thing that we will always do on this show is debate the issues and news stories, because that's what makes America special. More to come in a moment.
The Big K Morning Show with Larry Richards.
Eradicate Hate, a global summit. The 5th annual is going on at the David Lawrence Convention Center. 46th Governor of Pennsylvania, Tom Corbett.
Anger and hate has no place in a disagreement, particularly in a democracy and a republic like we have in the United States. Unfortunately, throughout our history, we've seen that hate has taken over.
Weekday mornings 5:30 to 10 on the Voice of Pittsburgh. 100.1 FM and AM 1020. KDKA.
The Village at St. Barnabas, the perfect place for moms.
Your home equity could vanish almost overnight, stolen by scammers who forge a deed and transfer it out of your name. The FBI calls it house stealing, and the worst part is you may not know it until it's too late. Find out if you're already a victim now at HomeTitleLock.com. Use promo code RADIO for a 30-day free trial, a title scan, and access to a title specialist, a $250 value. Go to HomeTitleLock.com now. Promo code RADIO.
Want to live a happier, healthier, pain-free life? Tune to Pittsburgh Works this Saturday morning at 7. Jessica Festa of the OptiLux Wellness Center will feature all the services offered, including PRP, regenerative medicine, and massage therapy. Listen and heal this Saturday morning at 7.
Pittsburgh. Are you ready to relive the magic? Almost Queen, a tribute to Queen, is taking the stage at Rivers Casino on Friday, September 19th. Experience the look, the power, and all the legendary hits all in one place. From Bohemian Rhapsody to Another One Bites the Dust, you'll be dancing all night long. Visit riverscasino.com for tickets. And don't miss Almost Queen, a tribute to Queen, live. We'll see you there.
Do you know what an ADU is, an accessory dwelling unit? I'm Lynn Hayes Freeland, and if you're anything like me, you have no clue what that means. That's why AARP is putting together a special workshop called Small Spaces, Big Impact, How ADUs Can Benefit Pittsburgh. Now, an ADU is something like an in-law suite or a cottage in the back of the house, a way to create living space that families can live together. Learn more at the workshop September 25th at 9:45 a.m., and you can register at aarp.org/local.
Listen to KDKA Radio on the Odyssey, iHeartRadio, or TuneIn apps.
KDKA and KDKA-FM HD2 Pittsburgh. W261AX Pittsburgh.
Always live on the free Odyssey app. From the Aetna Studios.
Proud to be the voice of Pittsburgh. 100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA.
CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by O'Reilly Auto Parts.
I'm Jennifer Kuiper. During his first and brief court hearing in Utah today, the man accused of killing conservative activist Charlie Kirk last week is asked by Judge Tony Graff.
Could you state your name?
Tyler James Robinson.
The judge then read aloud all 7 counts, including aggravated murder. Utah County Attorney Jeff Gray says if convicted, they intend to seek the death penalty, and Utah allows the use of a firing squad for executions. Gray also says that after last Wednesday's shooting on the Utah Valley University campus, Robinson texted his roommate.
Robinson, why did I do it? Roommate, yeah. Robinson, I had enough of his hatred. Some hate can't be negotiated out.
The next court date is September 29th. The Anti-Defamation League says it flagged troubling posts to the FBI months before a 16-year-old opened fire inside his Evergreen, Colorado high school last week, injuring 2 students before taking his own life. CBS's Anna Schechter.
The 16-year-old shooter visited the same dark corners of the internet as multiple recent school shooters, where glorification of violence is the norm.
There is a through line between the school shootings in Madison, Wisconsin, Antioch, Tennessee, and what we saw in Evergreen.
Orrin Siegel is head of counter-extremism and intelligence at the Anti-Defamation League. It was his team that alerted the FBI to disturbing posts from the school shooter back in July.
The Department of Homeland Security is out in force in Illinois. CBS's Camila Montoya Galvez.
One ICE official told me that ICE will not be raiding Home Depots or conducting any indiscriminate raids in the region, but we should underscore that a second agency is now operating in that area, Border Patrol. A commander there, Gregory Vivino, oversaw controversial raids in the Los Angeles area earlier in the summer.
A standoff on Capitol Hill may lead to a government shutdown if the parties don't work things out by October 1st.
There's a new House Republican ad claiming Democrats are trying to shut down the government to block President Trump's policies. But Democratic Wisconsin Senator Tammy Baldwin notes.
Donald Trump basically said, I don't need to talk to the Democrats. Just plow ahead.
Democrats say they are still negotiating to keep a government shutdown from happening. There's just 2 weeks left before the deadline. Allison Keyes, CBS News, Washington.
If you're going to do it right. Here's my notes. If you're going to hype it with the facts. I don't mind what you did. I mind the way you did it.
Robert Redford, one of the stars in All the President's Men, and reaction is coming in after word of his death of the 89-year-old actor, director, and Sundance Film Festival founder at his Utah home surrounded by his family. Barbara Streisand says every day on The Way We Were set was exciting, intense, and pure joy.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get the parts and service you need fast from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting great candidates? Well, they're not hard to find when you go to ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. People who are actively looking for jobs like yours. So it's easy to find the right person fast. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Here's a tale of Becky. Didn't know what to do with new meds prescribed and no real cost clue.
She squinted at prices, that can't be right. Then tapped GoodRx and saw the light.
She can get a deal, book telehealth if she feels.
Learn about those meds without any stress. That one little app does all the rest. Even my horse downloaded it. Dang, save time and money on prescriptions.
Check GoodRx. GoodRx is not insurance.
5 of 7 electric vehicles posted solid scores on a new round of crash tests from the Insurance Institute for Highway Safety.
The Chevy Blazer EV, BMW i4, Volkswagen ID Buzz, and Tesla Cybertruck all got good ratings in a test that simulates striking a tree or a telephone pole. The Tesla Model 3 was acceptable.
There are vehicles out there performing really well in different crash modes.
Institute Vice President Raul Arbelay says Ford's F-150 Lightning and Nissan's Aria got poor scores. Biggest concerns were protection of rear seat passengers. Jeff Gilbert, CBS News, Detroit.
A man wearing goggles and what appears to be a wetsuit robbed the Disney Springs Paddlefish restaurant early yesterday after ordering employees to get on their knees. He took some cash and left. The Orange County Sheriff's Office says there were no patrons at the time. The incident took place after the restaurant had closed. Jennifer Kuiper, CBS News.
The KDKA AccuWeather forecast is brought to you by JP Roofing and Siding, Pittsburgh's #1 Platinum Preferred Roofing Replacement Contractor. Call 412-829-7711.
Mostly clear tonight. We'll dip back into the mid-50s. Times of clouds and sunshine. Tomorrow up to 81.
Mostly clear tomorrow night, down to 56, and then sunny and very warm Thursday, high 85. We're AccuWeather. I'm John Feerick, 100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA.
All right, your Pratt Pack final hour, and we're going to go right back to the phones because Gary has been very patient in Georgia waiting. So, Gary, you're on the air. Good evening.
Hi, Rob. Thank you. I know I always ask this because I have trouble with you can hear me, right?
Loud and clear, sir.
I want to thank you for taking the call. I'm back home in Georgia from Kentucky. If you don't mind me saying, back home for my birthday steak dinner tomorrow. I wouldn't. However, I almost missed it. Can I tell you a personal note? Before I left, I got. I'm okay. I'm going to be okay. I have walking pneumonia, and but I'm better.
Good.
But I wanted to call. The reason I called. I happened to put you on. I know you're coming on at 7 o'clock it was, something like that.
6.
It was 6.
Yep.
Okay, 6. But is monologue the right word? You gave an opening monologue. Is that a fair and good word to use?
Yes, excellent. Excellent word.
Okay. I have to call you. And I'm going to be the man. I'm going to be the person who gives you your due every single time. Every single time I hear you. That was absolutely beautiful. That was absolutely so sensitive, and right on the mark. So right on the mark, how you described how we should be looking at this tragedy of this wife losing her husband and the 2 children losing her husband, and keep it at that. And try to move forward with that. And I wanted to call you and tell you how impressive of a mom. I'm sorry, I gotta say it. You're gonna let me. Impressive that was. It was mature. It was thoughtful. It was caring. It was all those things. I'm not going to mention the last thing you mentioned, but because that's just 1% of it. 90, it was just, I just had to call you and tell you, you're doing a real good service for not only Pittsburgh, but anybody who wants to listen to reason, maturity, and no bias. So there you have it.
I appreciate it, Gary. Please get better, and happy birthday, okay?
Oh, I'm better, and thank you.
All right,
we think of you. We love you a lot.
Well, I got to ask you, because, I like steak. What type of steak you having?
Oh, I'm having I don't know if it's either T-bone or what's that other one called?
New York strip.
No, I know.
It's got to be a big one. Porterhouse?
It is. Yeah, it's a porterhouse. It's about, I think it's 24 ounce.
Well, listen, you come back. I'll take you to Coons Market. We've got the best meat department in Pittsburgh. I'll buy you a big, thick, juicy porterhouse. Maybe we'll get 2. Take them back to my house and grill them up and enjoy a couple of cold beers, too. But God bless. Get well. And you mean a lot to me, and you do this program as well. It's my buddy Gary, who literally, this guy, on the road constantly. I mean, one day Kentucky, next day Georgia, Florida. I've never seen anybody, Ohio, always on the move, but very opinionated, a real patriot, an American. Don't always agree, but I know how much he loves his country. So let me just take it to the next step. And again, this has been the main topic, and I think you can all understand because there's so many things that connect to this story. Let me ask you something. And I don't know if you have the answer. But why do you think, and where did the moral compass in this country go in the wrong direction? I mean, as much as I'm talking about a young man in his early 30s, his lovely wife of a few years, their 2 children on their way to what we witnessed growing up. Many of us have been blessed to enjoy ourselves, becoming parents, grandparents. But on the other side of this story, a 22-year-old who had to know that he wasn't going to get away with this. He had to know the moment he squeezed the trigger and took the life out of Charlie Kirk that his life, for all intents purposes, would be over. And to be quite honest, At 22, who wants to spend every waking moment, as long as they're on this earth, possibly for another 50, 60 years, behind bars? What would make somebody... Mental illness is a real problem. I know that. But as much as I can't comprehend what happened to Charlie Kirk, I can't comprehend that a 22-year-old whose life is just beginning would be so bent and so deranged and so angry and full of hate that would be willing to do that. How many times have you been in a situation where, on the road, in a sporting event or in an event, to where somebody has just pushed all the wrong buttons and you are ready to lash out or you feel threatened? But instead of engaging in a conversation that can become heated or possibly physical, you realize that this person could be a parent, a grandparent. You may see their children around them, and everybody knows you don't do stuff in front of children, right? They're sensitive. Their eyes, their ears, their emotions can be changed and affected forever. As bad as this was that he died so young, imagine 10 years fast forward when his daughter and son can comprehend. I honestly believe one of the strongest people ever, and that's why you'll never hear me say a negative word about any of the Kennedys. Even Robert F. Kennedy Jr., who was 9 at his uncle's inaugural, had to witness that. He was of age, understood 3 years later at 12 that his uncle was murdered. And they had a Zabruta film, an 8mm film that was being seen everywhere, every angle, and some horrific footage. He had to live through it. Caroline and John Jr., relatively small, but they too, and all of the Kennedy family of Robert F. Kennedy, have had to live with it. I mean, how do you go forward knowing that something like that happened to a loved one, a parent? I've often said, how do people live and go on after a ferocious car crash when those officers show up at the doorstep late at night and you lose your child or your parent? Or a crime committed. Somebody may be listening to me right now, may have experienced a loved one being murdered. How do you ever go forward? And I'm sure their answer, and I've talked to those who have gone through situations like that, where a life was taken way too soon, connected to them, a child, a parent. And they say, you have no other choice. I understand that. But how does this man's family, father in law enforcement, close to 30 years, how do they move forward? And I hear people saying this, that, whatever. Look, that man at 22 knew the difference, right and wrong, had to understand the big picture. He's not cooperating, but if it is to that point that he is proven guilty, innocent now until proven guilty, court of law, appeal process, I will never point or blame anyone other than the person who did it. It's the same thing with people who end up on the wrong side of drugs. Everybody wants to blame those that's selling the drugs. Not to say that they're right, but we're all born with this thing called a free will. And on that fateful day in Utah, this young man took it upon himself to take another man's life because he did not believe with his ideology, his political beliefs. So I'm saying, with the death penalty on the table, due process, let's see where it goes. But Utah, the criminal justice system, has to get this one right. We have tried every angle stopping this violence. Mental illness has been on the table now more than ever and should be. But we have continued to try to stop this type of violence that doesn't seem to want to go away. So explain to me the thought process of such a angry young man. And I had people calling last night that had nothing but, they felt bad that he was murdered, but they didn't believe anything he said, and they believed that he was firing sparks from his mouth that generated anger. That's America. I get it. But never should anyone have to die because of their opinion. But what is it that could drive someone that young, with so much life ahead of them, one moment in time deciding to take the life of another? It makes no sense to me. Maybe you all can help me, explain it to me a little bit better, so maybe I can figure it out. But on both sides, is this the world that we live in now? How did we get to this point? 866-391-1020. Your call's next.
When you need to talk, we're here for you. Always have been. News Radio KDKA.
Let me tell you about this new pretzel cheddar club. Hey, I'm Carlos.
And I'm Ebony. And a little thing we love about the Chick-fil-A Pretzel Cheddar Club
is the tangy Dijon with the pretzel bun. It takes it to a whole nother level.
It goes perfectly with the chicken and the cheddar cheese and the bacon.
Man, you know how much you love bacon. And I love the different varieties. Grilled, spicy, original. It gets you nice and excited for fall.
Order the Pretzel Cheddar Club with Cherry Berry and Sprite for a limited time on the Chick-fil-A app. Real guests paid for their testimonials.
There's nothing like when you get that part from eBay and it just fits. Yeah, the first time. So you can do less of this and get right back to more of this. At eBay, you'll find all the parts you need, guaranteed to fit, at prices you'll love. Sounds good, doesn't it? eBay, things people love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Get connected. That's the Inside Connection this Saturday morning at 9 with your local Medicare experts from MediConnect. If you're turning 65, hear all the inside information available to seniors on the Inside Connection, presented by MediConnect. Medicare made simple.
At Petite Kitchen and Bath Design Center, we love to exceed our customers' expectations. It's what we've been doing for over 50 years.
Our kitchens are a combination of quality materials and master craftsmanship. And through each step of custom creation to expert installation, it's all about taking care of the details.
With a focus on the details, we make sure that the design meets your needs and that the materials and construction ensure that your kitchen will stand the test of time.
All while managing the scheduling so that your life has as little disruption as possible and your kitchen is completed without surprises.
Exceeding expectations. We'll deliver more kitchen than you expected for less money than you expect to pay.
Visit our showroom or call us at 412-279-2222.
That's 412-279-2222.
Haven't you waited long enough?
PA 625.
Listen to KDKA Radio on the Odyssey, iHeartRadio, or TuneIn apps.
The 50,000-watt voice of Pittsburgh. 100.1 FM and AM 1020. KDKA.
Tomorrow night, Attorney Phil DeLucente. Sentencing guidelines, the trial, the thought process after the shooting suspect day in court today. Also, Rachel Heisler, Pittsburgh Controller, talking about generating cash flow in the city of Pittsburgh. And, of course, all the topics making news. We start at 6 tomorrow night. 866-391-1020. I'm going to go to Andy in Butler, and then we got Dan in Washington, PA. Andy, good evening, and welcome back to KDKA.
Hey, good evening again, Rob. So, we talked about Charlie Kirk last night. We're going to talk a little different tonight. We'll talk about the reactions around the country. And you made a comment about his children, you know, as they're growing up having to confront this, okay? There's obviously been some people in the news media who made comments that caused them to lose their jobs. Matthew Dow from MSNBC was one. There was also a reporter from the Washington Post, I believe, who got let go because of her comments that she made. Some of those comments that she made in the paper also were blatant misquotes about things that Charlie Kirk has said concerning different subjects. So, I mean, you can mislike the man if you want to. That's on one level. To celebrate his death or to misquote him in an effort to disparage his legacy is quite another. And on the comment you made about his children growing up and having to face this, there have been reports of, I'm going to say, thousands of teachers across this country who have been reported by their students and others for celebrating his death. There have been people in positions in companies across this country, if you look at the reports, that have been fired for the things they posted on social media. So imagine his, I think it's 3-year-old daughter going to kindergarten in a couple of years and facing a teacher who held those spots, who actively celebrated her father's demise. Okay? So I don't care if you like Charlie Kirk or dislike Charlie Kirk, all right? Attacking him after the fact isn't called for, and the realization that there are people out there in positions like teaching who hold those thoughts in their heads and may someday be in a position where they would be instructing one of Charlie Kirk's children. One of the teachers said, was saying that he should, that was happy that Charlie Kirk had died, and that his children and grandchildren and grandchildren's grandchildren and grandchildren's grandchildren's grandchildren and so on should all be affected the same way. So, and on the other side of that, as has been said a few times, the reaction on the right has been prayer vigils and coming to a realization that we're not going to put up with those kinds of reactions like from those teachers and other people anymore. Thank you very much for the time, Rob.
All right, Andy, let's go to Dan. But remember, always good teachers, too, lots of them. Let's go to Dan. Dan, you're on KDK. How are you?
Yeah, Rob, how you doing?
Good.
I got a little rattled last night. I maybe didn't have enough good food to eat during the day, but...
yeah, you did. You were fine. You were fine. You were fine.
I know, but
You don't need to bring food into this. Go ahead. You were fine.
Oh, yeah.
You were fine. Go ahead.
But I got sucked into some of the malcontents, and I reacted to that. And I wanted to say, when my thoughts were to come on and say, I put something on my mirror that somebody suggested. And it's, I wrote it down. It says, understand, then condemn. That's put it on your mirror for years.
Dan, that phone of yours, buddy, I'm going to give you 30 seconds to fix it, or I'm going to have you call back, because it's, once again, all of that goobly guck. So hopefully it clears up. Let's try it again.
No, okay, all right. But I'm just saying, Andy had a good point, but maybe Charlie's wife will homeschool in a small group, and his daughters can maybe avoid all that public pressure.
All right.
So,
all right, Dan. Good stuff. Appreciate the call. Thank you. Anybody else wants to get in here on this topic, feel free to give me a call, 866-391-1020. I love Dan. Good guy. He's hard on himself. He does a great job every time he calls. He just needs to get a new phone. I need to have something for Joanne to make sure she turns the radio down and he gets his phone fixed. But I care about these folks. They're my family. So I just have to every time remind them, and that's okay. I just want people to keep bringing their opinion to the table. Let's go to Craig in West Virginia. Hey, Craig, good evening and welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, Rob. How you doing tonight?
I'm okay. How are you, sir?
Doing good. And let me start off with saying this, and hopefully put at least some of the Republicans' minds at rest. I'm a Democrat, been a Democrat, will always be a Democrat. What happened Wednesday was horrific. Hate to see it happen, and I am not happy about what happened, and nor will I ever be, and don't condone anybody that is happy about that type of action. I'm going to take a different approach tonight. You look at Donald Trump. Let me ask you this. Who was America's mayor? Rudy Giuliani. Rudy Giuliani hooks up with Donald Trump. Now he's getting ready to file bankruptcy. All you got to do is just look through everybody's past before they met Donald Trump, and where are they at in life after meeting Donald Trump. You look at the casino workers that bought into Donald Trump's letter, switched their whole 401k into a Donald Trump stock, and at that time it was $37 a share. They ended up getting $15 a share because the casino went bankrupt. They bought into Donald Trump's rhetoric, and they ended up where they were at. You look at 44 cabinet members and affiliates of Donald Trump in his first term, either indicted or went to prison. You look at Charlie Kirk, once again, horrific. When you hook yourself to Donald Trump's wagon, bad things happen. And like I said, it's bad. And then you go on the internet and you read things like, I don't care that he's dead. He's not a hero. He's a scumbag. He shouldn't be celebrated. And guess what? All your Republican listeners out there right now think that I'm talking about Charlie Kirk's death. But guess what? Those were Charlie Kirk's words talking about George Floyd's death. This is not a mystery to me. When you spread that kind of rhetoric, bad things are going to happen. I never, ever start a political conversation. I never do. If I'm out in a bar here in the High Valley and somebody brings up Donald Trump, or they walk in with a MAGA hat and start saying something, I'm going to speak up. I'm going to be a counterpuncher. I never start that conversation. But when I stand up for Joe Biden in that bar in the reddest state in America, I know one of two things are going to happen. We're going to have a semi-angry conversation, or I'm fighting somebody. And I've been thrown out of bars for my Democratic belief down here in the Valley. But when you are Charlie Kirk and you say the things you say, you have to have self-accountability that bad things are going to happen. And here's the worst thing of the whole thing. You know, when we were young, me and you thought about gay marriage and you were like, oh, my God almighty, that's crazy. Now today, 20, 30, 40 years later, it's second nature. Nobody even uses the word gay. It's just a marriage. And when his kids grow up and see the things that he said about the LGBTQ community, and 30 years from now, it's going to be just as normal as anything else, even way more normal than today, they're going to say Dad died for nothing. That's the worst thing that's going to come out of this. Thank you for your time, Rob.
All right, thanks. I appreciate it. All right, Cynthia and Marvin, going to get to you after the break. But I also, as I said, I'm going to reserve some space tonight for Robert Redford, and hopefully we'll get through these calls and I can dedicate some of the show to him, because we did it earlier, did something social media-wise. If you want to check that out, you can subscribe to my YouTube channel or go to TikTok or Instagram or Facebook, and I also put it up on our X platform here at Odyssey, because this guy, I mean, what a legacy, and became such a hero to me and many, not just because of his work in cinema, but what he did for the great outdoors. This guy, what a life. I mean, what he did by giving back and stepping up and helping out. I don't know if we'll ever really know how much he did, but even if we know a half of what he did, is more than most of us would do in 10 lifetimes. So mourning the death of a Hollywood icon, and I really believe the last leading man, because of the way Hollywood is perceived now and with streaming and everything that's happening in the world of movies, he may be the last leading man. Robert Redford, in case you haven't heard, and that's hard to believe because it's everywhere, passed away at his home in Utah, surrounded by his loving family at the age of 89. All right, CBS Radio News with that and much more moments away, and then we'll get back to your phone calls and our little tribute to Robert Redford with your Pratt Pack on a Tuesday night at KDKA.
Planning your next family getaway? Before you click a book on one of those big travel sites, think about this. They add up to 15% in fees. That's money that could go towards dinners out, souvenirs, and another day of fun. At SWAC Vacation Rentals, we believe your money is for your vacation. By booking directly at swacvacations.com, you save that money for what really matters. The price you see is the price you pay. Find your perfect spot and keep the savings. That's SWAC, SWACK, vacations.com.
In many ways, Thanksgiving and Christmas are right around the corner. How would you like to sit down at the dinner table, have smaller clothes on, feeling and looking better about yourself, moving easier and faster, welcoming friends and family who are shocked at your weight loss? This is Dr. Shufo from the Weight Loss and Wellness Center. Now is the time to get started, so excess pounds will be off for the holidays. It'll be your greatest gift ever. Call me at 1-800-900-THIN. Let's make this a Merry Christmas and Happy Thanksgiving together.
This September, show your power. Support the Greater Pittsburgh Community Food Bank during Hunger Action Month by donating, volunteering, or advocating. Every dollar, every hour, every voice. That's the power of you. Visit PittsburghFoodBank.org today.
The KDKA Radio High School Football Game of the Week. powered by Bowser Chevrolet, is back. This week, Montour hosts Mars in Week 4.
Presented by Invisalign, Allegheny Health Sports Medicine, official sports medicine provider for high school football. Giant Eagle, Keystone Custom Apparel, and brought to you by the U.S. Navy. Forged by the Sea, Remarkable Auto Works, collision repair and service make your car remarkable. Red Ribbon Soda, Pittsburgh's Pop, First National Bank, and by Noble Environmental.
High school football lives on 100.1 FM and AM 1020. KDKA.
From the Aetna Studios.
Proud to be the voice of Pittsburgh. 100.1 FM and AM 1020. KDKA.
CBS News Brief. In court, all 7 counts against the man accused of killing Charlie Kirk are read aloud, including aggravated murder. Utah County Attorney Jeff Gray earlier laid out how the suspect contacted his roommate after the shooting, telling that person to look for a note.
The roommate looked under the keyboard and found a note that stated, quote, "I had the opportunity to take out Charlie Kirk, and I'm going to take it."
Prosecutors intend to seek the death penalty. The Department of Homeland Security is in Illinois conducting immigration raids. CBS's Camilo Montoya Galvez.
Operation Midway Blitz in Chicago continues. We are told that hundreds of migrants have been arrested. They are suspected of being in the U.S. illegally. And in addition to that, they have pending criminal charges or convictions.
The President and First Lady are in London. CBS's Ed O'Keefe.
President Trump getting an unprecedented second state visit. No other world leader currently alive has ever received that honor, certainly no American president.
CBS News Brief, I'm Jennifer Kuiper.
The popularity of cremation is on the rise. Unfortunately, so is the cost. I'm Dustin D'Alessandro, Supervisor and Funeral Director. To keep the cost down, the Thomas M. Smith Funeral Home and Crematory Limited in Blawnox and the D'Alessandro Funeral Home and Crematory Limited in Lawrenceville have on-site crematories. By performing the cremation on-site without losing custody of the remains, our funeral homes can defray those costs and pass the savings on to you. Our fee for a direct cremation is only $1,250. This low-cost, direct cremation offer is available to all residents of Allegheny County. Surrounding counties will incur a slight additional fee based on mileage. Contact us with questions or to schedule an appointment by calling the Blawnox office at 412-828-5700 or our Lawrenceville office at 412-682-6500. Our websites are thomasmsmithfuneralhome.com and DeLisandroLTD.com.
If you are new to Medicare and have questions, Aetna can help. Aetna has a Medicare Advantage plan that includes prescription drug coverage with a $0 monthly plan premium. Plus, the plan includes benefits like dental, vision, and hearing. Call Aetna today at 1-833-771-3415 to learn more. A licensed agent will answer your call.
Aetna Medicare is an HMO PPO plan with a Medicare contract. Our DSMPs also have contracts with state Medicaid programs. Enrollment in our plans depends on contract renewal. Plan features and availability may vary by service area.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. We're dedicated to serving people 50 and up, like me. Our needs are different. Big Wireless wants us in an unlimited plan, but if you're not using all that data, you're probably getting used. At Consumer Cellular, we're focused on affordable, reliable plans, including data that suits your needs, not ours. Our plans start at just $20, and you'll get the best customer service in the business.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com/fax. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio.
The KDKA AccuWeather forecast is brought to you by JP Roofing and Siding, Pittsburgh's #1 Platinum Preferred Roofing Replacement Contractor. Call 412-829-7711.
Dry weather continues. Mostly clear tonight, down to 57. Partly sunny tomorrow, nice up to 81. Mostly clear tomorrow night, low 56. Sunny and a little warmer Thursday, high 85. For AccuWeather, I'm meteorologist John Feerick, 100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA.
Hi, this is Larry Richard. Join us on the Big K Morning Show tomorrow, 5:30 until 10. Rich Fitzgerald joins us in the 7 o'clock hour, bringing us news from around the 10-county region.
All right, just about time to get out of here. So let's be respectful and let's make it a good finish. Here's Cynthia in Florida. Hey, Cynthia.
Hey, I'm going to have to go back and listen to your show because I was watching an old Robert Redford movie, one of my favorites, which is 3 Days of the Condor. He was a CIA researcher. People can look that up. Charlie Kirk supported free speech. He was against cancel culture. And all these people that want all this stuff done to people who are speaking out, they're going against exactly what he said. He supported. But when you censor people, they end up going into these dark web spaces and acting out and saying what they want to say. And I'm going to give you an example. Prior to January 6th, I told Chris, that's when I opened up a Telegram account. I saw what these people were talking about, what they were saying. People that felt like they couldn't express themselves out in the public. And at Marty's show that morning, when they were having the protest, I posted on his Facebook page, they're going to attack the Capitol building hours before they attacked the Capitol building. So, I'm against censorship, and when you do that to people, they get more and more angry and more crazy. But Robert Redford, I'm so sad, too. I have been buying clothes from his Sundance store for years. That has gone out of business. So
I didn't even know about. I didn't even know about that. When did that go out of business?
Just this month. I'm pretty sure it just went out of business this month.
You have to hope that you have to. Whoa, Cynthia, slow down here. Let me get a word in. They're gonna hopefully that'll survive. Hopefully that whole Sundance thing will survive.
I was getting it from the catalogs for years, and then they opened a store when I lived in Alpharetta. And so I was able to just go over there and buy my clothes. But, I'm pretty sure it's out of business as of this month. And I was going to, somebody did a drive-by on me last night.
Listen, let it go in one ear and out the other. They do it to me every day.
Next time I talk to you, I'm going to read the article from the Israeli Post that Charlie Kirk mentioned as well about the stand down on October 7th. I have the names of the soldiers who testified that they were told not to guard the border that morning. But I'm going to hang up now and listen to you talk about Robert Redford.
We're going to do that in a little bit. I got to take care of Marvin in Illinois. Marvin, go ahead.
Yes, calling you from the criminal operation known as Illinois. I kind of agree with your last caller. You got a great show tonight.
Thank you, sir.
The Constitution guarantees everybody a free speech. And this young man was murdered because he spoke what he felt. I mean, I don't have to agree with you, but I can listen to what you have to say. And he was murdered because of that. And that's terrible, man. The Turk was murdered like that, by an individual. And they say he was murdered from somebody on the far left. Is that what they're saying?
They're not saying anything. They're just saying that they have a suspect in custody who they believe is the person that committed the crime to where that person was charged with murder today. That's what they know.
Yeah, but this person that murdered him was a young man. And this thing, you see where this thing is going, man? This thing is going really bad for the country. I hate to see what's coming because you're going to have people murdering people because, I think this guy's a Democrat. I think this guy's a Republican. I think this guy's a independent. You're going to have this kind of stuff out of here, man, and it's terrible. It's really terrible the way the country is going. Now, if the president don't come out and say, hey, we need to unite on this and stop all this madness. Stop all this madness. I think the president has to come out and say this. Whether it's right, left, or whatever, stop all this madness because, this killing is terrible. And it's going to keep on going. It's going to escalate.
All right, Marvin. I appreciate it. How close are you to Chicago?
About 180 miles.
Okay. All right. Well, listen, have a great night, and I'm glad that you decided to call in tonight. First-time caller Marvin from Illinois. All right, listen, let's jump out of this serious conversation. I think we've all kind of been drained discussing it, and tomorrow we'll have Phil DeLaCenta here to talk about the criminal charges and the aspects of the upcoming trial, the death penalty on the table, and all of that stuff. Plus, we're all going to kind of start to ease out of this story and get back to some things that are really happening locally that we need to talk about. Rachel Heisler does a great job. She is the Pittsburgh City Controller, and we're going to talk to her about creating cash flow in the city and why it's needed now more than ever. All right. Favorite Robert Redford movie. What are some of your favorite Robert Redford movies? And if you want to get in here and talk about Mr. Redford, who passed away at the age of 89, I'm going to give you an opportunity to do that. And if you don't, that's fine too, because I got enough to get us to the top of the hour. But I really think there are a lot of people that love this man for what he did on cinema and maybe some of the things that he did outside the world of Hollywood, which are incredible when you think about it. And that's why I was telling Cynthia, you know, Paul Newman, his dear friend, they were able to keep Newman's Own going because of his daughter, in which all the proceeds go to the children. Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars. And whenever I'm in Coons Market, if it's Newman's Own and I need it, I get it. But hopefully they'll be able to continue Sundance the same way, because really some of the best movies I've ever seen are movies that have come out of there. And that would have never probably even had a chance if it wasn't for Robert Redford. And I'm curious to hear what some of the other great directors in Hollywood have to say about him. People like Quentin Tarantino. As much as, you know, I love hearing from the actors, and they're all talking about him. I really would love to talk to the directors, too. We still have Clint Eastwood here, who kind of is a mirror image of in the same way that Robert Redford is as far as movies, box office star, #1 star, who got into directing and really left an incredible legacy, Robert Redford, as a director. But Clint, and hopefully he's here for a little longer, he's in his 9th decade. His legacy, really, when you look at it, it's pretty much down the middle as far as what he did as an actor and what he did as a director. Unforgiven, he got that award for that movie, as Robert Redford got for Ordinary People, the Director Award, Best Director Award. So, favorite Robert Redford movie. I'm going to share some of those with you on the other side, talk about his legacy and what he has meant to Hollywood. And also, this is a great time for us to reflect on what's happening in Hollywood right now, and where it was at the turn of the 19th, going into the 20th century. People like Charlie Chaplin and people like Warner Brothers, as in Jack Warner and his brother. Names like Universal Pictures, that was formed because of Charlie Chaplin. Harry Cohen at Columbia. MGM Studios as well, and the musicals, and obviously what Warner Brothers did with names like Humphrey Bogart and Edward G. Robinson and Jimmy Cagney, to where we had some great patriotic movies that became hits with people like Audie Murphy and others in the 50s, post-World War II. Movies like Platoon, Apocalypse Now on the Vietnam War, the rom-com era, epic movies like The Godfather, still considered to be one of the best of all time. But when you look at the body of work of Robert Redford, who only won that one Academy Award as a director, he may not, and I alluded to this earlier, he may not have won one as an actor. I think he should have, but it was because of him Hollywood just did not survive. It thrived. For 20 plus years, he was box office gold. Whoever was putting one of his movies out knew that they would be able to leave the lights on and be able to start pre-production on another movie or two. Long before Netflix and Paramount Plus, which I absolutely love, and Peacock, he was the driving force, money-wise. And when we go through some of the movies that he was connected with in the next segment, it will absolutely blow you away to think about, he did that, yeah, that's right. He did that, yeah, that's right. And some of the partnerships, men and women, that he worked with, how they really had such great chemistry. But how this young man who came from California with those California Hollywood looks, was a good baseball player, got into college, then got kicked out of college because he was kind of like a juvenile delinquent, found a path into the movies by going to New York and Broadway first. And every once in a while I'll be scrolling and I'll see something, and I'm a big fan of The Twilight Zone. And there he was from that early performance, a young man, and then that kind of matriculated right into the movies, Barefoot in the Park, something he starred in on Broadway. And Jane Fonda was the one who said, let's get him. Let's get him. And that movie launched a career that became epic. And when you look at the state of Hollywood now, I don't think there will ever be a leading man like Robert Redford. So tonight we pay tribute to him in our final segment. If you want to jump in here, feel free. 866-391-1020. Robert Redford, charismatic actor, philanthropist, activist, has died at the age of 89. We'll be back with more in a moment.
Every Tuesday morning at 7:20, listen for Inside Independence Health, a look at all things healthcare with the experts from Independence Health System. It's brought to you by Independence Health System. Expert care here.
Have a house you're ready to sell? Ryan Shalaba here with the Home Buyers of Pittsburgh, and I want to make your next home sale the easiest one yet. Over a decade in business and 175 plus 5-star reviews, we've helped people in all different situations get the most money out of their house when they need it. We'll save you time, money, and stress, and we'll even help you move. Call 412-500-9057. We'll get you a cash offer in as little as 24 hours. That's 412-500-9057 or visit homebuyersofpittsburgh.com today.
Hello, KDKA listeners. This is Carlos, owner of Greater Pitt Tree Service. If you have any concerns about any trees on your property, call Greater Pitt Tree Service, 412-884-TREE. We have an A-plus rating on the Better Business Bureau. To serve your needs best, we have an ISA-certified arborist on staff. We have 32 years experience, 412-884-TREE. We will be your best choice for tree work. Greater Pitt Tree Service, 412-884-TREE. And remember, we did your neighbor's tree.
Hi, this is Les Botkin of Botkin Family Wealth Management. Every week, I change the message on our building sign, and one of my favorites is, "You're never too old to set another goal or dream a new dream." It's so true. I was 63 on the day my daughter Sarah, son Lester, and I realized a big new dream. We opened the doors to our family-owned investment firm. I'd grown increasingly dissatisfied at our Wall Street brokerage, pressured by the priorities of a big firm. We craved a more intimate environment where we could focus on what matters most, relationships with our clients. Sarah and I are certified financial planners, and Lester is a chartered financial analyst. We deliver big resources in a personalized environment where you're important to all of us. Firms turn over all the time. Advisors turn over. We don't. We're headquartered in the South Hills of Pittsburgh. We live here and we work here in the building that we bought together. It's our family helping your family. Find out more at botkinfamilywealth.com.
Securities offered through LPL Financial, member FINRA SIPC.
Do you have $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is letting everyone know about great debt relief options now available to help people with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of your credit card debt. Get a free debt relief consultation when you call 800-201-7676, 800-201-7676, 800-201-7676.
SchultzFord.com, 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 SchultzFord.com.
Pittsburgh's 100.1 FM and AM 1020. KDKA.
You know, most people in the business of Hollywood that were major motion picture stars basically went kicking and screaming into the world of television in the 50s. And many of them, sadly, were not so important in Hollywood by the time they got to their 50s or 60s and had to make a living, right? And they finally broke free of that stranglehold, that contract from the studio that they worked for, and many of them actually had a life after the movies, but it was tough for many of them. But Robert Redford really was kind of like the Cary Grant of his era. You never saw Cary Grant in any television series. He basically became a spokesperson later in life and traveled the country giving, talks to various colleges and things of that nature. Fabergé is who he worked for. Died in 1986, but that guy was gold. I mean, he was Hollywood gold throughout the 30s and 40s and just had an incredible through those Alfred Hitchcock movies in the 50s. But think about it. Robert Redford starred in Barefoot in the Park. Jane Fonda, who because of her father and her acting chops had a little bit of say early on in her career, and said she noticed one day all the secretaries were talking and oohing and ahhing about Robert Redford. Let's get him. And he basically was in the play, so he knew the part, and he was magical. He just made it work. And he never looked back. What I remember about him in the 70s when he was in his mid-30s and he was on top of everything, you would see pictures of him, in the sun playing tennis and skiing in Utah. Jeremiah Johnson was one of my with Will Geer and him, favorite movies of all time. to this day, whenever that movie comes on, it is almost impossible for me to change the channel. Downhill Racer, Gene Hackman, another great movie. This is just about the time Barefoot in the Park, late 60s, and then all of a sudden, he decides to pair up with Paul Newman, and they do Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. Now, Paul was in his late 40s at that time and had made such incredible movies like Cool Hand Luke. Once again, casting is everything. Those two together, magical. So much so that not long after that, they made The Sting. And that, too, was box office gold. But Redford wasn't done. The torch was being passed from Paul Newman to him, and he ran with it. He made incredible movies, including 1973 with Barbra Streisand, The Way We Were. Look, I've always been a romantic at heart. I like those type of movies. Yes, I know it's almost impossible for those movies to become reality, but I think that's what keeps me alive. Because when all else seems to be falling down around me and the world seems to be spinning out of control, it's always a good love story that kind of puts you back in the right position. And he made a ton of them. The Great Gatsby, I remember the hoopla and all of the buzz, Hollywood, all of the magazines, the trades were talking about it. Did it do as well as other movies? No, but it was a great movie. And even the great Leonardo DiCaprio, who I consider a leading man like a Brad Pitt, that torch has been passed to Leonardo, but he too now in his 50s. So you start looking around, but I don't think Hollywood is going to permit a leading man or woman like we saw with Jane Fonda and Barbra Streisand and Robert Redford and Paul Newman. The world's just changing. And I was thinking about Joanne Woodward and how her and Paul Newman did so many incredible things together. And when they were on the big screen, it was flat out magic. But there was something about Robert Redford that put him just a little bit ahead of everyone else. And not that he was looking for that. I'm sure he had an ego, but he really was a guy with a big heart. Just his philanthropy alone and what he's done with Mother Earth, how much he loved that, and preservation and conservation and being an activist and standing up and always speaking his mind when it comes to politics. And if he were alive today and we met, he may be questioning why I think some of the things that I do. Talk about. But he, meaning the president, in that makeshift press conference today before he left for the UK, was told by one of the reporters about the death of Robert Redford, whose political beliefs were completely on the opposite side of the president, but the president even knew the right thing to say. He was great. He was fantastic. He made a lot of great movies. Just a good man. Basically couldn't say enough good things. And I said, that's the America that I want to live in. Even though Robert Redford and I, being a Democrat, lean more that way, and our Republican, hardcore conservative president knows when it's right to be respectful. And that's the thing that I always admire about Robert Redford. He had these beliefs, but Bob Redford never shoved them on anyone. He basically left it open for debate, and you could see him at Sundance working with these young filmmakers and showing them how to block a scene or to rewrite a script. He was just that kind of teacher and that kind of mentor. And all of these films that I remember in my life were a teaching tool to me, like All the President's Men. It puts some clarity as far as Watergate and why the story had to be told, even though I say to this day, our country has never been the same. But if Woodward and Bernstein would have not told that story, maybe we wouldn't be watching government with the close eye that we do today. That was an incredible movie with him and Dustin Hoffman. But you know, great love stories are still, in my opinion, the great escape, and we need them. Bridges of Madison County with Clint Eastwood and Meryl Streep, still one of my all-time favorites, and there are many. Ray We Were, Barbra Streisand, Bob Redford. That final scene, she's an activist. She sees him now married with someone else. They run to meet each other in the middle of the road. She pushes his bangs from his eyes, and there's that longing look, right, that they know. Love that will never return, but they had a special thing at one time. Loved it, loved it, loved it. Her voice, her soundtrack, off the charts. But one of the movies, because I kept thinking I mentioned them all, you know, The Natural, truly a great movie of just, you know, epic proportion and daring to dream and fictitious for sure, but making you feel like a kid again and being at that plate, hitting that bat and hitting the light fixtures with a baseball, right? But I saw something just a little while ago that I had forgotten about this movie. But what a great movie it was with Meryl Streep, Out of Africa. That is a great movie, a great love story. If you haven't seen it or you haven't watched it in a while, over the next couple of days, whether it's Turner Classic Movies, no matter where you tune or look, they're going to be rolling a lot of his movies. And I think if I'm a young filmmaker or I'm in acting school or I'm learning to be, a director at, say, the USC Film School, which is such an incredible place for people to learn to make film, I would start watching some of his movies, but also take time to watch Ordinary People. It was one of those awe-inspiring moments for me, realizing that Hollywood finally is telling stories about real, ordinary people. And the thing that I loved about that movie, he shot it in sequence as opposed to shooting the beginning right at the end, as opposed to the end at the beginning. He filmed it in sequence as though this family was living it frame after frame after frame. And thus, he wins the Academy Award. And as much as I'm sure he would have liked to have won one as an actor, that had to be very satisfying, knowing that your peers gave you the most prestigious award in the directing category because you made the cut. Look, Robert Redford, those movies will go on forever, even though our stars die, and time stands still for no one. I'm surely not the only one who's feeling a little down tonight, but what an incredible life. We would all, if we could sign that contract, love to be 89 and have the life that he had. But it doesn't mean that we can't feel as though we lost a family member. Because when you think about his body of work and how long it went on, it's like he's been a part of our family every step of the way. You will be missed, Mr. Redford, and thank you for not just what you did for box office, but what you did for humanity. And that's what your children and grandchildren and all of us will remember the rest of our time on this earth. Till tomorrow night at 6, it's your Pratt Pack. Good night.
The Big K Morning Show with Larry Richards.
Eradicate hate. A global